is over. The Bears are finally home, and football is back on campus. So gather up. It's Bear Family Day at Morgan. Good evening on the campus of the National Treasure, Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Inside Hughes Stadium, the 0-3 Virginia Lynchburg Dragons out of the National Christian College Athletic Association facing the 1-2 Morgan State Bears. It is MEAC football on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm Phil Schaner alongside the coach, Gene Clemens, and we're ready to go another Morgan State season. Another great defense by Morgan State. Coach, matter of fact, they're ranked number 1 in the country for takeaways at 2.33. What that means is they're very good at taking the ball away from the opposing offense.
Absolutely, and they don't care how they'll do it. They'll strip it away from you. They'll pluck it out the air. This defense is opportunistic. You can tell this is something that they work on constantly.
This is what they've done. 3 picks and a fumble last week in Ohio. 2 takeaways each against Towson and Hampton. Now time for our impact players for Morgan. It's all about the number 0. You like the number 0?
Absolutely.
Morgan certainly does with their quarterback, Taj Smith, and their great defensive player, Elijah Williams. The number 0 is 00.
Absolutely, in double trouble. Elijah Williams, number 2 in the MEAC in sacks. And Taj Smith, a young sophomore, still coming into his own. Tons of talent. I'm really looking forward to seeing him put an entire game together. Outside
of the Hampton game, Morgan has struggled offensively to score points tonight against an 0-3 Dragon team. They're hoping to boost their confidence a little bit with the offense tonight.
Absolutely, and we've seen it from them. We've seen glimmers of what this offense can be when it's clicking on all cylinders. They want to put a complete picture together tonight.
Let's meet the coaches first for Virginia Lynchburg. Tim Newman, he wears a lot of hats. Head coach, offensive coordinator, and athletic director, took over at Virginia Lynchburg in early 2021. And then on Morgan State, Damon Wilson enters his 3rd season as Morgan's head coach after spending 13 seasons as the head coach at Bowie State. Had a lot of success at Bowie, 3 conference championships at Bowie and 5 trips to the NCAA Division II playoffs. So we are ready to kick it off. MEAC football tonight on ESPN+, and Morgan State will kick the ball to the Dragons of Lynchburg. Takes a bounce at the 5, and on the return, we're set a return of just 5 yards up to the 10, and that's where this Lynchburg offense will have the football, and they have struggled. They're 0-3. They've been outscored 135-16. A loss to Wagner to start the season, 46-7. They lost to Livingstone, 37-9, and last week a 52-0 loss to Presbyterian, and they had right now in the season, minus 44 yards. Their quarterback's been sacked a lot. They haven't rushed the ball well, just averaging 112 yards of total offense for the Dragons coming in.
Yeah, you want to see this team get off to a start of just efficiency. Be efficient on first down, efficient on second down, try to move the ball regularly. That's the key for this team.
So the Dragons 1st and 10, first time on offense for them. And Newman is their lead back. He gets most of the carries, gets that one, but doesn't get much yards. A tackle for a loss. Newman comes in with 29 carries for 44 yards, just averaging 1.5 a game. And you see the Bears defense are tough. They have been tough against some pretty good teams the last couple of weeks. Great last week against Ohio and Elijah Williams. We talked about him. We're going to talk about him most of the night, Coach.
Yeah, and right now he's already getting to the ball carrier. He has a knack for getting to the ball, knows how to bring a ball carrier down, knows how to bring a quarterback down. That's going to be big for this defense.
So a 2nd and 10 here for the Dragons, just underway tonight in the Charm City in Baltimore. Quick pass, and it's intercepted, and there is a pick 6 for Carl DeCitas, and that's his 2nd interception of the season. And the Morgan defense, they do it again.
Yeah, and just threw the ball right to him. DC is Johnny on the spot. He's the benefactor of an errant throw by the quarterback, and now we're up 6-0 Morgan State right now.
Wow. 2nd interception and another takeaway from this team that leads the country in takeaways. Carl DeCitas with the pick 6. What a way to start tonight for the home opener here at Hughes Stadium.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't script a better start defensively. We've sat out here and talked about these guys and how they take the ball away, and now they're taking the ball away.
Leary makes the extra point, and Morgan strikes first. Their defense does it with the pick 6. What a way to start for them. And Carl's been a special player. All MEAC 2nd team selection. Last year he was 5th leading tackler on the team. In 2000 and 22. His sophomore year, Coach, he had 3 interceptions, and he also had a pick 6, his last one. So that was his second career pick 6. He had a pick 6 against Delaware State, a 37-yard pick 6 in that win for Coach Wilson. So his second career pick 6.
And what we're seeing is they came out locked in, ready to play. You'd like to see a little bit better execution for Virginia, but at the end of the day, Morgan State taking advantage of the opportunities that's given to them early.
Decius has been a special player, and Morgan's defense has certainly been special. Last week when they were playing an FBS team, Ohio, a team that won a bowl game a year ago, beat Georgia Southern, Coach said, we did everything right defensively. The problem was our offense just stalled out in the red zone. They couldn't get points on the board. They only had 2 field goals last week, and a fair catch called for this Dragons team that is struggling for sure offensively, trying to find an identity, and very young team. Their line up front has, ready for this, Coach, 4 freshmen and a sophomore in that front line for the Dragons. Very young.
And that's not the type of offensive line you want to have up against such an experienced defensive line for Morgan State. But this is great experience for these young men as they go through this game and get ready for what they'll have to face in their conference play.
There's a look at their quarterback, Matthew Jenks, 44 of 88 passing, 356 yards. He's thrown a touchdown and now 3 interceptions on the season.
He's just got to calm down. He's got to deliver the ball when they throw the ball. Make sure he's trying to put it on frame, on target to his wide receivers. Keep the ball out of harm because they have had trouble with turnovers this year.
Morgan comes into this game with 1 win. They opened the season with a win over Hampton, and that was their best offensive performance. That night, the offense was really clicking. And one thing they also did in that Hampton win, they didn't have any pre-snap penalties, and they had no turnovers. It was probably one of the better games that Morgan has played under Coach Wilson now in his 3rd season, that opener against Hampton.
Yeah, and they were able to make some plays offensively and defensively. And I think that's the biggest thing, is when you're able to have that level of balance where your offense is contributing, and now it allows your defense to play a little freer, not as tight because they're worried about giving up points. That makes the entire team better.
So after that win to Hampton, then they lost the battle for Greater Baltimore. 14-9 loss right up the street at Johnny Unitas Stadium a few weeks ago. So that was almost like a home game for them. And then the loss last week to an FBS team, Ohio, 21-6. So let's take a look to see if he called for a fair catch. That's what the replay officials are looking for. Yeah, definitely. 2 guys, I think, called for a fair catch.
Both guys did. Now, in fairness, the second guy, he kind of gave a short wave, but it definitely was a waiver.
The ball will be placed at the 25-yard line.
And you can see they've given him credit for it.
It looked like the wave you gave today in Baltimore hailing a cab. You gave that short wave, Coach.
Absolutely. You can see there, it's just a little quick wave, but it is a wave.
Yep, so that gives the Dragons some yards on the penalty, and they'll stick to the ground. You'll see a lot of Newman tonight, and he gets the run. And who's there? Number 0, Elijah Williams, of course, to make the stop. His second tackle of the night already.
Yes, and if you're going to run up the middle, you're going to see a lot of 0 tonight. For as long as he's in the game, you can't just run directly at him. You're going to have to put 2 and sometimes 3 blockers on him to keep him off the running back.
So the defense has been good. Now 9 takeaways on the season. They have 6 interceptions now, 3 fumble recoveries, and, of course, a pick 6 that happened just a few minutes ago to put them on the board early, 7-0. 2nd down and 9 for the Dragons. And they keep it on the ground, and Newman slips and maybe gets a yard. Not much there as he slipped down on his carry.
Yeah, and it's a shame. He actually had a lane. If you look, when he cut back to his left, there was a lane there for him to get through. If he was able to keep his feet, you'll see it right here. When he tries to cut back to the hole, he just as he's trying to explode through, loses his feet.
Slipped on the turf. Mostly cloudy, 74 degrees tonight, 25% chance of maybe some rain throughout the night. We're hoping that it holds off, because if it doesn't, that would even make the turf a little slicker. So now a 3rd and passing situation for Jenks. Gets the pass complete, but nowhere to go. Picks up a yard, and that is it on the quick hitter and the completion to Sims. Sims is the leading receiver for the Dragons. That's his 26th catch of the season, Coach. 26 catches, 240 yards for the sophomore.
Yeah, and DC is in there, to get there and break that up, make sure that doesn't go any further. McKenzie around there as well. Both guys doing a great job rallying to the ball.
So the Dragons will have to punt it. And Leatherberry is back to receive the punt for Morgan. He's standing at his 45-yard line. Poteet will punt it for the Dragons. Poteet has punted a lot. He's probably one of the most active players on this Dragon team. His longest of the year has been a 51-yarder. That's taken at the 45-yard line by Leatherberry, who makes a man miss, crosses midfield, and is tackled right at the 49-yard line in Dragon territory. We'll step aside. We'll see the Morgan offense for the first time tonight. They already have a 7-0 lead thanks to their defense. In Baltimore, Hughes Stadium, season opener for the Bears. Fourth all-time meeting between these two schools. Morgan State leads the series 3-0. The Bears have outscored Virginia Lynchburg 164-36 in the games they have played against the Dragons. So there you see the scores over the years. The 61-0 game in 2015, that's when the game did not count. It was a non-countable opponent for 2015 to 2017. Then Lynchburg became a countable opponent, and Morgan got two big wins against them as they played here, now playing here for the fourth time at Hughes Stadium. So we see the defense. Taj Smith, the sophomore, who's been very good this season, and the running backs are good as well. There's a bunch of good ones, and there is J.J. Davis, who picks up 9 yards on that first down carry. The running back room is full with Davis, Collins, and Myree. We're going to see all of them tonight rotating in and out.
And all of them dynamic in their own way. Davis, the veteran of the bunch, graduate, a guy that's shifty, who knows how to put his foot in the ground and get north and south.
So J.J. Davis is standing next to Taj Smith, the sophomore quarterback, who's been pretty good. Hand off to Davis, bounces to the outside. Davis has the first down and more across the 35-yard line down to the 34, and a pickup of 8 yards for J.J. Davis on that carry.
Yeah, and it looks like a late flag came in. I can't tell if it was going to be a face mask on the defense or on the offense.
Carlos Terran, our referee, will give us the answer.
Face mask, defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty, be added to end run. Automatic first down.
So they'll tack that on to J.J. Davis as Moore was flagged for that penalty for the Dragons.
Yeah, Davis tried to give him a stiff arm, and Moore said, hey, if you could put your hand in my face, I'll put my hand in yours. And unfortunately, that's illegal out here on the football field.
Yes, it is, Coach. All right, in the red zone now for Morgan State, threatening their offense, trying to get on the board. They have not scored in 5 quarters. Last touchdown for them was in the Towson game. They had 2 field goals last week in the loss to Ohio. J.J. Davis Bounces inside, then outside. Doesn't gain much. Gets a couple yards. Good job there by the Dragons. And Cox makes the stop. And he's going to make a lot of stops for the Dragons. Number 20, the grad student, leads the team in tackles with 23 and a sack. He's the best defensive player on the Dragons side.
Yeah, and Morgan not huddling, making sure they get to the line fast. I like it. You know, you got to make sure that you're trying to use a little tempo, get stuff ready for when you get into conference play, make things happen a little bit faster, speed the defense up.
What's crazy is they still have a month and a half till conference play. It doesn't start for them until November. Now they change it up with J.J. Davis has been the go-to guy on this series, and he's looking good. J.J., of course, remember his freshman year, coach at Norfolk State, all MEAC first-teamer. He led the league in rushing as a freshman. Incredible what he did at Norfolk State his freshman year.
And it just tells you about the careers of these guys and how much, you know, things can change over the process of a few years. Like, he has an opportunity to now finish off on his Morgan State team as a major factor.
J.J. Davis started at the University of Cincinnati. That's where he played his high school ball and played college there, and then transferred to Norfolk State. J.J. Davis finds his way into the end zone for the touchdown. It was all J.J. Davis on that drive, and the grad student from Cincinnati is in the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, and the quarterback, Todd Smith, will be looking to get a little bit of love on a little block in there. You'll see as he darts in to try to get a little bit on a defender, a Dragon defender. Not much because, you know, he's a quarterback and all, but he's able to get his body in there and help his running back get to the end zone.
That was the first rushing touchdown for this Morgan offense in 8 quarters. They had 4 different rushing touchdowns in the opening game against Hampton. That was their last one, and J.J. had it in that 4th quarter. J.J. Davis puts Morgan up 14-0. We'll step outside. Magnificent marching machine is here at Hughes Stadium for the opener in Baltimore, Maryland. Hughes Stadium, 14-0 is her score. The Bears, they went on a 5-play, 48-yard drive, took 2:23 off the clock, ended with J.J. Davis's second rushing touchdown of the season. The Bears opened things up with a defensive touchdown. Their 9th takeaway, Carl Casillas with a pick 6, and that's our scoring here. And the Bears looking good on their home opener against the 0-3 Dragons.
And that first drive was just a J.J. Davis love story, right? Like J.J. Davis left, J.J. Davis right, and at the end there was a touchdown and 5 carries for 34 yards.
Fair catch is called for. So the Dragons will have the ball back on offense. And let's head down to our third member of our broadcast team, working the sidelines for us, Kayla Sweezy. Kayla?
Yes, this Morgan State football team was ranked third in the preseason polls behind Howard and Delaware State. Much like Howard, they're looking to make history with their first Celebration Bowl appearance this year. Head coach Damon Wilson said they have all the talent needed to get the job done. They just have a few key areas of focus, and one of those being playing tighter defense. So I know the pick six and then the momentum rolling since has Coach Wilson over there happy on the sidelines.
Coach Wilson very happy, and you know, there's a game at the end of the season here at Hughes Stadium to wrap it up against Howard. That very might well be for the MEAC championship and the right to go to the Celebration Bowl. Newman gets another carry, and his best carry of the night gets close to the 30-yard line, stopped at the 29. So Kayla talked about the picks of the coaches and the folks at the MEAC. What do you think? Who do you have atop the MEAC? Do you like Howard? Do you like North Carolina Central? Where do you have Morgan? What do you think?
I think all three teams have an opportunity to be effective or to be at the top of the MEAC at the end of the year. I really think for Morgan it's going to come down to what they do offensively. Defensively, they've had a MEAC championship defense the last few years. Can the offense raise their level and bring home the championship? That is the question.
And there's a mix-up on the snap, and the Morgan defense is there to swarm it up. So the Dragons made a mistake. The ball was snapped early, and Fields was in there, Shell was in there, and you have the whole defense. And good job as you see Morgan's defense coming in to close out.
Yeah, the ball just hits the wide receiver coming across. That's a Marion Harrison that he hits. Just got to time that up better if you're the quarterback. Make sure that when you are snapping it, it's either before that receiver gets to the center or after he's already passed him.
So now a third down, and the Dragons have not been good on third downs this season, and a 3rd and 10 for them. So a passing situation for Matthew Jenks, who has 2 passing touchdowns this season. The Dragons only have 2 touchdowns the entire season, and he runs out of bounds, and a 4th down coming after Jenks got maybe 3 or 4 yards on the carry.
Yeah, and that was the big number 0 out there, flushing him to his left. It made him run. You know, Elijah Williams has played all over this defensive line. In this play, you saw him lined up at defensive end.
You know what's scary, Coach? As good as Elijah is and the rest of the defense, they're playing without Eric Hunter, who's one of the top defensive players in the MEAC, who's injured. He's at practice. He's in uniform tonight. Not going to play. They hope to get him back by conference time. But how good would the defense be when you add Hunter with Williams?
When you add another guy who's a potential NFL pro, like, you're going to get better. And we know how good Hunter is. We've sat, on these microphones and sung his praises in games on over and over again. I can't wait to see him back with this defense, and I know their coaching staff can as well.
Should be a lot of fun. We'll see Morgan on offense when we get back. MEAC football in Baltimore tonight on ESPN+. Good crowd here for the opener. Bear Family Day at Hughes Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. The cheerleaders are glad to be their first opportunity to cheer in front of the home crowd. Bears looking for their first home opener win since a 24-9 victory over Sacred Heart in 2022. Pretty good crowd on hand. 34 yards of offense for Morgan, all coming from one player, J.J. Davis. 5 carries, 34 yards. That has been the offense for Morgan State. Let's see if Taj Smith can get involved in the offense.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a shot right here. You know, open it up. They have this in hand. Let's see what he can do.
Myrie is now the running back, and Taj will throw the football and has the completion. And a helmet comes off at the 45-yard line after the catch right there. And that catch made by DJ Hamler, his second catch of the season. Murray was on coverage. You saw the helmet came off, so we got to see DJ's face, the senior from Pontiac, Michigan.
Yeah, and you can see right here, he almost squeezes, he almost gets away from him, and the defender has no other choice but to grab high by the head and rips the helmet off. Total incidental, nothing nefarious.
13-yard pass play, so DJ Hamler picks up his second reception. As a sophomore, he was the second leading receiver. He had a team-high 25 receptions for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns as a sophomore. Last season, he had 8 catches for 91 yards. So he wants to get more involved in this Morgan offense. 1st and 10 for the Bears. They send a man in motion in the backfield and give the ball to Double M, Miles Myrie. Myrie has a hole, and he's into Dragon territory all the way down to the 35-yard line. So we saw all J.J. Davis in the first series. Now it's time for Miles Myrie, the 5'9", 170-pound senior from Washington, D.C.
And a lot of veteran leadership in that backfield. And, you know, Jeremy Butler saved a touchdown right there for the Dragons, and so they get to live to fight another day, but a great run on his first carry of the day by Myrie.
14-yard run by Myrie, and he'll give it back to Myrie up the middle, making some men miss, breaking a tackle and fighting his way across the 25-yard line down to the 24. Now, much like J.J. Davis, coach, you know, J.J. was all MEAC his freshman year. How about Myrie? He was all MEC first-teamer at Fairmont State. And he's 5th all-time in the rushing list at Fairmont State before transferring to Morgan. Harris made the stop.
Yeah, he's right back at it again. And I think the plan is to get these running backs going. And they're going really well right now.
The running back room is great with Myrie, Collins, Davis, Jenkins Jr., who's been out. Did not play last week. Not expected to play tonight, but they have 4 running backs in that running back room for the Morgan State Bears.
Not to mention that Taj Smith can also get busy when he decides he wants to run with the ball as well.
Bears back in the red zone with a 14-0 lead, and they give it back to Myrie, and he's tackled in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. The Dragons come in and blow that play up. Number 90 comes in and makes the big tackle right there, coming in, his 6th tackle of the season.
Yeah, and you can see he just wasn't blocked, right? And it seemed like Taj Davis was trying to read him and pull the ball. Maybe a little bit too hard of a squeeze by his running back right there.
This offensive line for Morgan, they're missing their veteran, the senior. Travion Branch is out injured on the sidelines, not playing tonight. And for the 2nd straight week, a couple of the offensive linemen injured for the Bears on that offensive line. But Coach Wilson says, hey, it's just the next man up. So a 3rd down here now for the Bears. And Smith's pass down to the 5-yard line falls incomplete as he was trying to get it to Leatherberry.
Yeah, and Travell Cook does a good job of attacking the ball. You'll see right there, he plays through the ball. There's contact there, but they're not going to call the defensive back when the defensive back is playing for the ball. And now this offense is going to stay on the field and go for it on a 4th and long.
Terrell Cook, one of the veterans on that defensive group for the Dragons. He is a grad student. So now a 4th and 10. And the Bears will go for it on 4th down. They send Leatherberry in motion. Smith to pass the football. Clean pocket, fires, and has the completion down at the 12 inside the 10-yard line. And that grab by Phillips, grad student who came over from Virginia State. Harris and Cox on the stop for the Dragons.
And a great ball delivers right to the chest of the receiver right there by Davis. You like to see it. You want to see him continue to get more and more more and more excited about throwing the ball in this offense. That's the next progression for Smith in this offense.
Marquez Phillips with his 5th catch of the season. Smith gets it out and running towards the end zone and in for the score. A little quick hitter, why not, to Andre Crawley. Crawley does the rest for his first touchdown of the season for Andre Crawley, who had a big week last week against Ohio. 6 catches, 65 yards. And there he has the touchdown for the Morgan State Bears, their first passing touchdown since the Towson game.
Yeah, just a simple quick screen out there to Crawley from Smith to allow him to get his hands on the ball quickly and run into the ball. Not a good job by this Virginia defense to get those defenders up to stop him before he gets ahead of steam going.
We'll take a look at it in the review booth. So Taj Smith with his 2nd touchdown pass of the season. His first one was in that Towson game. He had the long strike, the longest pass play of the season, this 74-yard pass to Kitterly. That was Smith's only touchdown pass of the season until that short little pass to Crawley.
Yeah, and Crawley's got 12 receptions for 117 yards on the season. A guy that, Smith has been able to get the ball to probably over a quarter of the time this year.
Yeah. He's the top receiver.
Yeah, he's showing he's his favorite guy.
Yeah, had 3 catches against Hampton, had 3 catches against Towson, and last week had 6 catches for 65 yards against Ohio last week. So they're taking a look at the knee to see if Crawley got in. See what you think, Coach.
Yeah, I think right there they do a really good job at the end. It looks like the knee comes down, but it's so difficult to see where it is. This is a better shot. It looks like that knee is down before the ball gets to the goal line. I think it's going to be a first and goal, or I don't think he got it. I think he was just short.
Okay, might mark it short for the Bears. That would take away the Smith to Crawley touchdown pass.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a shame too, because he did a really good job of trying to stretch out and get that ball into the end zone. But you could see pretty clearly that his knee was down before the ball was able to cross the line of scrimmage.
So now they're just 1 yard away. So take that Smith to Crawley touchdown pass off the board.
Let's see if they call something to possibly try to get the ball to Crawley anyway, maybe like on a jet sweep or something.
4 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, and Morgan in control, 14-0, looking to add to that. 1 yard away, and the keeper for Smith pushes his way through the lineman, waiting for the call. Is he in? No sign yet. And there it is. Smith is in. Taj Smith, the sophomore, with the rushing touchdown.
Sometimes I wonder what takes these guys so long to signal the touchdown. It seemed pretty clear from where we are that he got the ball in there without any problem. They had to run all the way in to confirm. I guess they were confirming to make sure he still had possession of the football down there on the pile.
Smith's first rushing touchdown of the season. Last year he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Smith started the final 4 games of the season last year, so this is his 8th start at quarterback for Morgan, and he puts the Bears on the board and gives them a 3-touchdown lead. There's a look at Taj Smith this year coming in, completing 57% of his passes. With 1 touchdown pass, that 74-yarder that I talked about in the Towson game, and threw a pick last week, but it wasn't his fault. The ball went right through his receiver's hands, and the Ohio defensive back was able to get it for Coach Wilson. And Coach Wilson, he's 9-15 at Morgan, 23rd head football coach at Morgan, trying to change the culture. And what I like about this is Coach Wilson's 3rd season, and Morgan has had 5 head coaches coach in 8 years. None of them have made it until Coach Wilson to the 3rd year. So they want consistency, and I think they found it with Coach Wilson.
And he's excited about being here. This isn't something he's looking to do to figure out the next step. He wants to be here. He wants to build a powerhouse at Morgan State, and he's been committed to it. He talked about the work they've done in the transfer portal, the work they've done bringing in freshmen to supplement the stars they already have on this team, and now he's just looking to take that next step in this his 3rd season.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about Virginia Lynchburg, the Dragons. They're located in Lynchburg, Virginia. They were founded in 1886. They're a private, historically black Christian university. The enrollment, 750. They compete in 8 varsity sports in the National Christian College Athletic Association. So a very small school, and they have been playing MEAC teams, for the last couple of years. Matter of fact, MEAC teams have outscored Virginia Lynchburg 278-59 over 6 games going back to 2022. So the MEAC teams have enjoyed having Lynchburg come to town because they've been putting up big wins against them. Short completion there to Newman, and Newman goes nowhere as Maddox, who's been really playing good. Maddox, the leading tackler for Morgan. That's his 16th tackle of the season. He has a fumble recovery. Last week he had 6 tackles. Maddox has been really good.
With a guy like Hunter out, it makes you wonder who's going to step up and take that mantle as the leading tackler on this team. Maddox raised his hand confidently and said, "I've got you. Take your time getting back, big bro."
Yeah, and that's what you need, players to step up, and that's exactly the message that Coach Wilson said. Coach, you hit it right on the nail there. He said it's next guy up, and a lot of these players on the defensive side of the ball, Coach, have responded. 2nd and long now for the Dragons.
Yeah, and you just would like to see them do something to kind of, get a first down and not put their defense back out there again. Oh, almost an interception right there.
Jenks throws it away. Good thing he threw it high enough, and an incomplete pass. So a 3rd down coming up now for the Dragons. And a 21-0 lead with 2:48 to go first quarter. And here comes this pressure by the Bears.
Yeah, you can see he's under duress. You know who's back there, and it's funny because we see zero a lot, but that's Oguayo back there getting a nice little tackle on him, a nice little hit on the quarterback. This defensive line, is not just Williams. There's a lot of talent on the defensive line.
3rd and 15 for the Dragons. Jenks to pass, fires far sideline and incomplete. Decius was over there on coverage. He already has a pick 6 tonight to start off our scoring in the opening drive of this game. So 4th down coming up. The busiest guy for the Dragons this season has been their punter, the freshman Ryan Poteet. Has gotten a lot of opportunities to punt the football so far this season, and he is standing on his 6-yard line.
Yeah, and for this Dragons offensive line, they just have not been able to keep number 0, Elijah Williams, out of the backfield. And if you can't find a way to block him, it's just going to be impossible for you to operate on a regular basis.
Leatherberry back to receive the punt, and he catches it, going backwards. And now he's going forwards into Dragon territory, makes a man miss, and gets tackled at the 39-yard line. Coming up next week for Morgan State, they're at Stony Brook for a 3:30 kickoff. Stony Brook out of the Coastal Athletic Association. They're off to a 2-1 start. They were at Campbell today. We'll check to see how they did. Stony Brook opened the season with a loss to Marshall, then beat Stonehill and Fordham. So that's who the Bears have next week on the road. And of course, conference play doesn't start until November. So it's like 2 seasons for the Bears. They have basically 2 months to get ready, to get everybody in place, and then it becomes a conference tournament. The race for, obviously, the Celebration Bowls, where they all want to be in Atlanta, Georgia, and if they can win the MEAC, they could do that.
And they know, everybody knows that you've got to put quality opponents on the schedule to get to to get to your conference play. Those games are going to decide who wins it. It's a mad dash. It's a sprint at the end. But that's what makes the MEAC so exciting.
Trying to get the ball out to Leatherberry, and incomplete pass by Taj Smith. So Taj last year started the final 4 games of the season as a freshman and looked pretty good last year. His stats last year, 29 of 71, 426, had 3 touchdowns and rushed for 2 touchdowns, and was pretty much the solid favorite in camp to be the starter, and this is making his 8th start of his college football career.
And he's taking ownership over this offense and responsibility as well. He takes it on himself that the offense hasn't performed to the level that they have hoped to this point, and I know that he wants to perform better to get this offense where they need it to be.
Smith looks downfield, and now he's sacked. Brought down and sacked. And again, the big man comes in, second big play. No one's blocking number 90, Coach.
Yeah.
They got to get the word down there to Morgan. Someone's got to put a hat on 90.
Well, he actually runs around, and the tackle does a good job of running him around the quarterback. You know, Smith steps up, but when you step up into the pocket like that, you've got to make sure that you deliver the ball. If you hold it like that, you're going to get sacked.
So a 2-yard loss. 3rd and 12 now for Morgan. Smith to fire. Downfield he goes, and that ball was almost intercepted. Was trying to get the ball to Andre Crawley. And Harris almost had the pick, number 5 for the Dragons.
Yeah, just a little bit too far out of the reach of Crawley. Crawley tries to stab one hand out to pluck it out the air, but that can be dangerous because those ricochets can end up in interceptions. And now it's a 4th and 12, and once again, this offense will stay on and try to get things clicking. I think they're just looking for some consistency out of this offense, especially out of the passing game. They've had a lot of success with those deep hitch routes right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that on 4th down again.
Morgan 20% on 4th downs this season. Let's see what Smith does. Has to run out of the pocket. He'll have to try to run for the 1st down, and he does. Great job by Smith to extend that play and get the yards he needed. He needed 12. He got 13, and that'll be a Morgan 1st down as Cox ran him out of bounds.
Yeah, and he gets some really good blocks down there. You see him escape to his left. The receiver see he's running. Now they're turning and get a block. That's a fantastic block by Leatherberry, right there, to realize, okay, I'm not getting the ball. Let me turn around and become a guy to help my quarterback pick up this 1st down.
And that's what it's about. Selfless football, helping your team, doing the little things, making those blocks, and that's what Coach Wilson is realizing. Their guys are starting to figure it out. And this is Keith Jenkins Jr. breaking tackles and picking up 13 yards. Keith Jenkins Jr., who didn't play last week at Ohio, is back and makes that big run as Murray was the one that tackled him for the Dragons.
Yeah, and he gets that ball. He is shot out of a cannon there. If it's not for Murray grabbing onto the legs, we're talking about a touchdown right here. And Morgan State's back up on the line, ready to snap this ball again.
Of course, Keith Jenkins Jr. is a special teams threat, has 3 kickoff returns for a score in his career. Had 2 years ago, had 1 last year. They give it back to Keith Jenkins Jr. on the run. Tries to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. Johnson made the stop for the Dragons.
Yeah, and Jenkins Jr. does a good job of trying to cut up when he didn't see anything to the outside. But Virginia, Lynchburg did a great job of corralling, getting to the ball, making sure that he doesn't get any further than that.
And that'll take us to the end of the 1st quarter. It's been a great quarter. If you're a Bear fan, the home opener, and the Bears lead at 21-0 over the Virginia Lynchburg Dragons. We'll be back from Baltimore. It's MEAC football on ESPN+.
You're a first-year student or looking to complete your degree, Morgan State University's inclusive learning environment is home to more than 150 academic degree and certificate programs. Join Morgan's Momentum, Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, transforming today's learners into tomorrow's leaders in STEM, social sciences, and the arts. Start your journey today at the National Treasure. Choose Morgan.
15 years, the Home Depot Retool Your School program has been championing HBCUs. We've been right there with campus grants, scholarships, and career opportunities. Winning schools have seen their visions for upgrading their campuses and communities come to life through sustainability projects, as well as new places to connect, like innovation lounges and outdoor pavilions. As we celebrate 15 years of partnering with HBCUs, we're excited to keep the momentum going. Retool your school. We're powered by purpose.
See yourself here. Whether you're a first-year student or looking to complete your degree, Morgan State University's inclusive learning environment is home to more than 150 academic degree and certificate programs. Join Morgan's Momentum, Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, transforming today's learners into tomorrow's leaders in STEM, social sciences, and the arts. Start your journey today at the National Treasure. Choose Morgan.
MEAC football, where speed meets power, where every game is a battle and every moment counts. This is the home of thrilling action, heart-stopping excitement, and unmatched passion. Our fans, they're the heartbeat, the soul, the pride that drives us. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Be a part of something legendary.
Second quarter at Hughes Stadium with the Bears dominating the first quarter. 128 yards of total offense for the Bears. The Dragons just 1 yard of offense. The Bears looking to add to their 21-0 lead with the football back in the red zone with a 2nd down and 10 for the Bears.
Yeah, you like to see, Todd Smith do a little bit more in the passing game right here. He'll give another chance, and right there, a perfect strike.
Yes, Smith finds Andre Crawley. So they had a touchdown taken away earlier, not this one. Andre Crawley with the touchdown grab, and he's been the top target. That's his first receiving touchdown of the season, but he now has 14 catches on the year.
And you can see right here, it's decisive, it's quick, it's well delivered. Crawley is able to catch it in stride, break a tackle, and run into the end zone. That's what you want to see out of Todd Smith as he progresses through this season. Continue to get better at making the decisive throws.
Leary on with the extra point, puts it through, and Todd Smith has his second passing touchdown of his sophomore season. It goes to Andre Crawley, and the Bears now lead it 28-0. You are watching MEAC football on ESPN+. 7-play, 39-yard drive, and yes, the magnificent marching machine is strutting their stuff with a 4-touchdown lead. Smith with his second passing touchdown of the season to Crawley, his first catch. 7 plays, 39-yard drive, took 2:35 off the clock, and a 4-touchdown lead for the Bears in their home opener against the Virginia Lynchburg Dragons. So the offense, who has struggled to score points, only 2 field goals last week in the loss to Iowa. They had the 1 touchdown in the Towson game. Tonight, they have 4 scores. Of course, one was a defensive score. The first score of the game was a pick 6. Here on the return, oh, what a big hit. Wow. What a smashing hit at the 12-yard line. And I'll tell you what, I would have waited and called and wouldn't have come out of the end zone. Take another look here, Coach.
Yeah, that is a massive hit. And it looks, as I look at it right there, as it's a perfectly legal hit.
Will Harris Jr. is the one that lit him up. There he is on the sideline, and I think he's shaken up because that was a heck of a hit by Will Harris Jr. Wow.
You know what? He deserves to get a lean back on that because he put his full body into that hit.
Coach, that's why you don't play anymore and you coach. You don't have to take those hits anymore.
Never again. Never again.
Oh, a bad snap. Here's an opportunity for the Bears defense. Jenks throws it, and it's almost picked off. That would have been another pick 6. Wow. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, you would love to see him decide to just run that right there instead of deciding to go back and throw back.
Rufus Lovelace Rufus almost had a pick 6. And here's the trouble where it started with the snap. And then he gets hit, and then almost the second pick 6 of the game. Lovelace Rufus, I love that name, almost had a pick 6. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scores around the MEAC. Norfolk State 32-10. Jalen Daniels in this game, 20 of 29, 277 yards and 3 touchdowns. But how about Jaquez Jones? 12 catches, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Davian Morris had 6 catches, 143 yards. And the battle for the real HU, Hampton and Howard. That rivalry dates back, Coach, to 1908. Who gets the win? It is Hampton over Howard, 27-20. A couple of games still in progress. Delaware State and Richmond. Richmond has a 4-point lead. And another big game, North Carolina Central and A&T. Right now, that should be Central has the 20-9 lead over A&T in that 96th Aggie Eagle Classic. Eagles won last year's meeting 30-16. First time since 2018, the Aggie Eagle Classic being played in Durham, North Carolina. Bears defense still causes trouble for the Dragons defense.
Yeah, and
Josh Graham was there blowing that play up, number 10.
Yeah, and Graham does a great job. I also think Joseph Murray was around the thing as well, number 19. They're just swarming right now, and this VA Lynchburg team doesn't have a chance to breathe right now. It also looks like we have a different quarterback in there right now. Number 10 is in there for Virginia Lynchburg.
New quarterback is Nico Cleaves. Cleaves is tackled down by the 1-yard line. Cleaves almost got tackled for a safety. He was tackled right down at the inch line. And that is Lance Biden, who's been great. Lance Bindon has really come on. This sophomore has come on to the scene. Last week, Bindon had 5 tackles. He has 7 tackles on the season, and they're really high on this kid out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and Lance Bindon.
Yeah, long and athletic, strong, and he's just getting more and more confidence. You see them having a lot of fun after that play. This Virginia Lynchburg team can't get beside themselves and let this get worse than it needs to be. They need to punt this ball away, try to regroup, and get back together.
So there is the kick. It's going to be great field position for Morgan State. Leatherberry taking the kick and making men miss and dancing around a little bit. And he's down to the 31-yard line. So great field position for the Bears when we get back. Can they add to their 28-0 lead? They would like to. Back in Baltimore, the coach, Gene Clemens, Phil Shaner with you, and Kayla Sweezy working the sidelines tonight. Our ESPN Plus crew, MEAC Digital Network. Morgan State Bears held the team scoreless. Last time they held the team scoreless in the first quarter was last year against Delaware State. They do it here, and they're dancing tonight. They're feeling it. They're feeling good. The offense is feeling good. That's what they needed, because really outside of that Hampton game where they scored 4 rushing touchdowns, they didn't score a lot offensively. So let's see what Taj Smith can do. He sends Leatherberry in motion, then goes back. 2 wideouts top of your screen. And the handoff to Collins. There he goes. Touchdown. So your 4th back. That is Jason Collins Jr. 4 different running backs used, and all 4 have been very good. Collins with the touchdown, and that's his 2nd of the season. The junior from Washington, D.C. goes pretty much untouched.
Yeah, and we weren't even paying attention. Deuce Taylor snuck in there at quarterback right there. So they went with an entirely different backfield on that one.
Yeah, Deuce had an easy job. All he had to do was hand it off to Collins.
Just hand it off, baby.
Coach, I'll take that job.
Absolutely. Now, you know what?
Put me
you
in.
might be able to get me back for another.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe 1 to 2 plays.
Leary with the point after, and it's 35-0. So we have seen a very good running back room for this Morgan State. There they are. There they are, and they all been effective tonight. So what a running back room you have. We first saw J.J. Davis, took all the carries, and then it was Miles Myree, and then it was Keith Jenkins Jr., and now Jason Collins. What a running back room, Coach. Can you get all these guys enough touches?
I don't know if you can get them all enough touches, but here's the best thing about having 4 upperclassmen. They understand the game, and they've put their individual accolades aside to try to do what's best for this offense. And if their decision is, hey, we're going to feature all of these backs, then the MEAC might be in trouble.
How fresh are you when MEAC season rolls around, when you're using 4 running backs, right? You're not getting bruised and banged. You're feeling pretty fresh. Your legs are fresher when it really matters in the MEAC conference schedule.
And they know this because they've been around and they've seen how arduous a season can be. So keeping those hits off the body, that's something that's really important.
Coach, I would have bet the house that Virginia Lynchburg was going to call for a fair catch after what happened last time when they decided to take it out of the end zone. Remember the big hit?
Yeah, that is a fantastic hit. I wonder if he's still on the sideline trying to recover from that thing.
There's a look at Tim Newman. He was a great player. Played his high school ball at Olympic High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dominated running back at Johnson C. Smith University. Did well there. He was also an undrafted free agent with the New York Jets in '86. Coached at a few places, Johnson C. Smith University, where he went, also Fayetteville State University, along with a couple other small schools before coming to Virginia Lynchburg in early 2021. As I mentioned before, he wears a lot of hats. Head coach, offensive coordinator, and athletic director of a school that has 750 students. Run straight up the middle, not much there at all because it's tough to run against this Morgan defense. Newman gets most of the carries, number 1, as we see, again, them going with a different quarterback with Nico Cleaves. And Barnes made the stop for Morgan State.
I bet you'll see a lot more defensive players starting to rotate into this game.
Absolutely.
As we see this get out of hand very quickly, 35-0, and we still have 12 minutes to play in this second quarter.
Get your roster and get your popcorn ready, Coach. We're going to need it. Oh, wow. Another big hit. Have we seen big hits tonight or what? Wow, another big hit coming in there, and that is Lovelace Rufus, who almost had that pick 6. And Lovelace lays the wood on this one.
Yes, and once again, he uses his arms. He stays away from the head or the neck.
Technique is good.
Right? Absolutely. I'd love to see him wrap up right there. I really don't like the extension because when you play against better players, they bounce off those types of things.
And what if the player moves and all of a sudden you have a head-to-head and then you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, because if
and that's what they're going to take a look at, Coach. So that's what you talked about it, right? You got to have that proper technique. So, wrapping up is better because you do that, then you're going to get a look at it to see if it's targeting. And you don't want targeting because then you're out.
And that's a big thing. You never get in trouble if you just wrap them up and take them to the ground. I think that this won't be a targeting because, like I said, I think when he strikes, his arms go to the body. Yeah. and he keeps his head out of the play.
Well, there's Daly. He's the injured player, the freshman. He's the one that took that hard hit. And there, a look at Daly on the sidelines, who came into this game with 8 catches, 61 yards, and has one of the 2 touchdowns that the Dragons have this year. Daly has that touchdown catch, but he took a major hit from Lovelace Rufus. I love that name, LR. He almost had a pick 6 a couple series ago, and there he puts the big hit.
Yeah, like I said, when we look at this right here, we'll see. Right there, as you slow it down, he doesn't aim. He keeps his head out of it. His arm hits him in the torso, not in the head. So forcible contact to the head and neck is the rule. I don't think we have that as a situation right now.
It's been all Morgan State. It all started on the opening series. Carl Decius with a pick 6 went 14 yards for the score. The 9th takeaway for this Morgan defense, their 6th interception. And then after that, the offense, who's struggled to score a little bit, looked really good with that running back room that we talked about with Jenkins and Davis, and Myrie and Collins, and then Taj Smith, the sophomore quarterback, has his 2nd touchdown pass of the season, hit his top target, the leading receiver, Andre Crawley.
After review, the ruling of no targeting is confirmed.
So no targeting the call.
And I think that's the right ruling of no targeting.
Yeah. You know, some of the changes in college football this year, of course, we have the 2-minute timeout, the second and the fourth quarter. Also the use of iPads. So I was over a couple booths down from us, the Morgan State coaching staff setting up their iPad technology with all the cameras, and they're allowed to have 16 iPads down on the sidelines to help them coach.
And that's a fantastic use of technology for all of these football teams, as we try to get them to be the best they can be on a play-in, play-out basis.
Newman gets the handoff, the draw. Newman has the best run of the night for the Dragons, and that's a first down, a pickup of 11 yards on the Newman run, and a first down, the first down of the night for the Dragons. Brevard made the stop.
Yeah, Brevard and Ahmad McCullough was in on that tackle, and they just kind of sat back there and watched. Excuse me, not McCullough. No, yeah, it was McCullough in there on there, and 33 Xavier Shell was in there as well. They just kind of sat back and waited for him to come. That's what happens with the draw. You get a little shell shock.
Most positive play of the night for the Dragons was that run there by Newman, the 12-yard run and a first down. The first down of the night for the Dragons. And the quarterback's going to keep it himself. What a great play call that is. And he gets into Morgan territory down to the 49-yard line, as that is Nico Cleaves, the quarterback. So back-to-back great plays by this Dragon offense.
And it's a great job by Cleaves to read on this play. He saw the defensive end come straight down the line. He pulls it. I'd love to see him put that ball away. My goodness, he's carrying that thing like a loaf of bread. But he's able to pick up a lot of positive yards before Graham's able to bring him down.
A lot of people must have dropped a loaf of bread from the grocery store home, because that's always been the reference. Carrying it like a loaf of bread doesn't usually equals a drop.
It usually equals a drop, for sure.
Got to hold on to that loaf of bread with 2 hands. Handoff straight up the middle as the Dragons all of a sudden offensively trying to get something going with a couple of positive plays, because they only had 1 yard of offense in that first quarter. Here they have some positive plays. Andrews makes the stop, big number 99 there, and also McCullough in on the tackle for this Morgan defense. And as we see, the new quarterback Matthew Jenks has started, but the last couple of series they've gone now to Nico Cleaves. And a second down for the Dragons. First time they've been working in Morgan State territory. Here in the second quarter, 10:20 to go, and a 35-0 Bears lead.
Yeah, and Cleaves doing a good job of managing this offense right now.
Cleaves gonna run, looking for the first down, and tackled at the 44-yard line. McCullough made the stop.
And McCullough's been a busy person on defense right now. You'll see right there, Cleaves able to escape the pocket. He's just doing a good job of taking what the defense is giving him.
They've been waiting for McCullough. He's a transfer from Washington State, so they're expecting some big things out of McCullough, an FBS transfer from Washington State. Been waiting for him to make some big plays, and he has tonight.
He's had a lot of opportunities.
You know, he's from Baltimore, Maryland, played at high school at Mount St. Joseph's High School. Started at Maryland and then transferred to Washington State. So he was at 2 FBS schools and now here at Morgan. Here comes some pressure. And down goes the quarterback, and that's number 0. Elijah Williams was in there, making his name known. We talked about double trouble with 0. Williams gets another sack. That is his 4th sack now of the season.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic job. Watch this swim move right here. Just look right there to the left. Big number 0. Boom, swim move right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing your quarterback can do about that. And it's a good thing he just went to the ground. He didn't try to, make something else, because there were 2 other guys coming to get him with Benden and Aguayo right there on his heels.
Here's another punt for the Dragons. Agent 0, he's climbing that list of the all-time career sack leaders here at Morgan. A fair catch is called for, and they didn't give him enough room, so a penalty marker will come out. Yeah, Agent 0 is very quickly climbing up the charts of the all-time sack leaders at Morgan State, both sacks and career tackles for a loss. He had an impactful performance in week 2 against Towson. Place Morgan putting a name for himself in Morgan defense history, the way Elijah Williams is playing, the kid from Jersey City, New Jersey, Lincoln High School.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team, number 25. That penalty man forced 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Morgan State.
Got to give him room to catch the fair catch, and that's what happened there. So we'll tell you a little bit more about Agent 0 and how he is climbing those career charts in Morgan State history a little bit later on and see exactly where he is. But he's closing to the top. He might walk out of here as the all-time career sack leader, Elijah Williams.
And the redshirt junior, Deuce Taylor, back in at quarterback again.
Yeah, Taylor, of course, last year played a lot in the first half of the season in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Northside High School. Got most of the starts in the first half of the season before Smith took over in the latter half of the season. And the handoff to Myree, running to the outside. Myree makes a man miss and then ducks himself out of bounds just shy of the 45-yard line. So now we see Myree with this very talented running back room. We've seen all 4 running backs tonight, and they've all been very effective.
And it's a great game plan. Just hand the ball off to all of these running backs. Allow them to get a rhythm, do some damage, then bring the next fresh guy in and rinse, wash, repeat.
And I think it's important to point out that the offensive line isn't at full strength. The 2 tackles injured, and their leader, their senior that's been playing forever, with Branch, the 6'3", 290-pound senior, is out. He's on the sidelines in street clothes, so he's been out the last 2 weeks. A couple of guys from this line have been out, but different players have stepped in and stepped up. The football's in the air. Myree lost it. The Dragons might have recovered it.
Yeah, and Myree just getting a little bit loose with the football. He's going through the line. He sees an opportunity for a big gain and just puts the ball on the ground.
The Dragons come up with it. How about that? That is Smith, who recovers the fumble for the Dragons. Myree was going through the line, and then all of a sudden, Coach, I just saw the football pop up in the air.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it looks like number 20 gets a paw on it.
That's Cox.
Yeah.
That's Cox, he's their best defensive player.
Great job. Oh my gosh, that's a fantastic defensive play by Kendrick Cox.
He is a grad student. He leads the team in tackles. Defensively, he's always around the ball. So he was able to knock it out of Myree's hands, and a turnover for Morgan State. And the Dragons start off their drive in Bear territory. Let's see if their offense can get things going down here 35-0. And flying in a big tackle there for the Morgan defense. Cleves couldn't go anywhere as they make the stop. Coming up was Graham. Josh Graham, number 10, flew in there, the senior. Made his 5th tackle.
Yeah, and it just looked like a miscommunication by the quarterback and the running back. It looked like he wanted to pull it and then realized he probably should not have pulled it, then tried to go the same way that the running back went. But now the mesh is up and the defense is all over.
So Cleves lost a yard on that run. 2nd and 11 for the Dragons. They are in Bear territory. It's the furthest they've been all game. Leaves the throw and almost intercepted. That ball was thrown right at Jason Prevard, who already has an interception. He had a pick last week and almost had his second of the season right there, and that could have been another pick six.
Yes, and Jason Prevard is a guy that a lot of people are excited about here at Morgan State. Only a sophomore, was a major contributor last year. I believe a freshman All-American last year, and a guy that this defense believes can be one of the best to put on the blue for Morgan State.
You got it right, Coach. MEAC's leader in pass defended last year. He was 30th in the FCS with 7 breakups, including an interception. In the win over Richmond in the season opener a year ago, he also had 22 tackles a season ago. Cleaves throws it and has the completion. Out of the backfield, Newman. Or Sims, excuse me, on that. McCullough was there and Prevard to get Simmons down. Sims.
Yeah, and another good job of the quarterback by escaping, getting the ball to a player. He's doing a much better job of keeping the chains moving, trying to make sure that this Dragons team is not just 3 and out every time. They come up short, but you like the fact that he's been able to use his mobility to get the ball to people.
We'll step aside. 4th and 3 coming up for the Dragons. They trail the Bears 35-0. Agent Zero is climbing the charts. Elijah Williams, he's going to leave here probably maybe the top in career sacks. You can add another one to that because he got one tonight, so make it 24. So now he's tied with Justin Lawrence. And then could he pass Christopher Robinson, who's 28.5? I would think so. And then the tackles for a loss needs to surpass Christopher Robinson and Guyton. Agent Zero will really leave his mark here on the defense as he climbs the charts as all-time career tackles for a loss and sacks for number 0, Agent Zero, Elijah Williams. 4th down here for the Dragons going forward. Here comes the pressure. And who is it? Give him another one.
One more on the board.
He might get it tonight. So give him 2. So now career sack number 25. So now he's only 28.5 is the lead for Christopher Robinson, who played here in 2018, 2014. So 2 sacks for Williams. And now he has 25 on his career. And here's career sack number 25, Coach.
Yeah, and you can see this is just a miscalculation on the offensive line. They're trying to sprint one way. The backside left tackle goes the opposite way. There's a mistake right there. You can't make a mistake and leave that guy wide open, or else it's an automatic sack.
Agent Zero, now 3rd all-time sack list, past is Justin Lawrence with 25 for his career. The Bears take over on downs, and down goes one of the stick officials on the far sideline, and the officials get in there to make sure everything's okay, because that was Collins with the football.
Yeah, a host of Virginia Lynchburg players just giving them the business, and the poor stick guy takes the brunt of the punishment.
I hope he's okay. You know, he got his turkey sandwich and a couple bucks. He didn't expect to get hit on the sidelines over there.
Yeah, you can see right here he's trying to make something happen, and there's a bunch of guys that come in on there. They're just playing hard, and at the end a little extra, and he can't get out the way in time, and down goes the gentleman. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope Kayla Sweezy stays okay. She's down on our sidelines. I hope no one runs over Kayla.
Yeah, luckily she's in the end zone right now. Just stay away, Kayla. Don't go anywhere near there.
We'll make sure she's safe. We'll hear from her coming up shortly. So the Bears, 35-0. They really needed an offensive output, and they're getting it tonight. New offensive coordinator for the Bears. They're trying to right the offense with new AC Apollo Wright. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. His first year taking over as the offensive OC. Nice little play there as they pull it out of the belly. And good run, and that was a great play as it was Jaden Coffin, and Moore made the stop. Good job by Taylor to pull it out and get the ball to Coffin for his second catch of the season. Coffin.
Yeah, just a quick little read.
Offense number 3, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
So that'll take away Coffin's catch. It would have been his second of the season. He had his first catch of the season last week against Ohio, excuse me. So that'll move him back a little bit, second down.
And it seems like they caught that on the receiver, and you know, James pleading his case saying, no, it's not me, but the referee's in great position right there, kind of got him red-handed.
Deuce hands the ball off to Collins. Collins follows his blocks, gets across the 35 down to the 34-yard line, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So Collins, we've seen him. He's been great. Davis opened the drive and went right down the field, had 5 carries for 34 yards and scored the first offensive touchdown for Morgan State to make it 14-0. Then we saw Miles Myree and Keith Jenkins Jr., all 4 of the running backs, playing a major part on this for this Morgan offense tonight. Everything is clicking against Virginia Lynchburg. Deuce hands it to Collins. Collins, tough run to the 30-yard line.
Some laundry down in the back, and now things starting to get a little bit messy, a little bit sloppy, as I think both teams have an inevitability.
Offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
So the new offensive coordinator that comes in, Apollo Wright, great recruiter, evaluator of talent. Last 2 seasons, he was a head coach in high school down in Florida, coach. And before that, he was an assistant coach at New Mexico and Florida International. He's a Pennsylvania native. Coached Brian Westbrook at Villanova. He played at George Washington High School in Philly, then at Cheney University. He's the new offensive coordinator for Morgan State. They're hoping that he can right the offense. Apollo Wright, the new OC. For the Bears.
And it's interesting because a lot of times these high school coaches come in, and when you've got a little high school experience, it helps you to see things. Oh, as the ball comes out, and it looks like there's going to be a Virginia Lynchburg recovery.
James had the catch and then dropped the ball, and the ball comes out, and Cox was there to recover it, or the hit. Let's see if his knee's down. Take a look.
We're looking right there. No, the ball is out.
Yeah,
I think the ball is out before the knee comes down.
There's Cox.
There's a clear recovery by Cox. This is going to be Virginia Lynchburg's ball.
Cox has been everywhere defensively tonight.
He's been fantastic. Like one-man gang out there.
So that would have been Anthony James. He has not had a catch this year, and he was pretty good his freshman year. He had 8 catches for 95 yards. He transferred from Marshall, did Anthony James. Last season, he was the second leading receiver. He had 20 catches for 189 yards, but hasn't had a catch yet this year for number 3, Anthony James, who dropped that ball. So the second turnover of the game for Morgan State, and the Dragons have the football back. Let's see what they can do with it.
Oh, and the ball is
another
on the
fumble.
ground.
Another fumble. So back-to-back turnovers. Back-to-back turnovers, as Green Scarver was the one that picked it up for Morgan State. And he gets another takeaway.
And it looks like number 58 right there, or 59, excuse me.
That's Fields.
Yeah, Fields does a great job of getting his hands on the ball, stripping that thing out.
Now 10 takeaways of the season for this Bears defense. That is now their 4th fumble recovery. Of course, they have the interception, the pick 6, and then a fumble here. They certainly are the takeaway factory. They lead the country, as we mentioned in the opening, Coach, of takeaways, the turnover ratio of 2.33 a game. So they have their 2 tonight.
One of the most impressive things about it is that this defense isn't just, feasting on a lower level opponent tonight. They've done it versus FBS competition. They've done it versus FCS competition. Everywhere that you've seen them, they've been able to take the ball away.
So now we see another back, Williams, the running back.
I think they're hell bent on getting every single running back on the roster a carry tonight.
Yeah, they might. And it's still 3:13 to go before the half. Taylor gives it to Williams. Williams on the run, gets shy of the 20-yard line, down to the 21 on that run. So he's the 5th running back that has gotten touches tonight and has had a lot of success.
And Cox on the tackle again. He might set a Virginia Lynchburg record tonight.
He's close.
Tackles.
Yeah, Coach, he's close to double digits already on tackles.
Absolutely. He is out there and he's running around. He's trying his best to represent his team as well as he can.
Here's an area where Coach wants to get better at on third downs. Coming in there, just 33% Morgan State is on third down. Here's a 3rd and short for them. Let's see if they can convert it. This time it is Collins back in. Collins shifty and has the first down. Gets to the 15-yard line as Collins gets the carry. Jason Collins Jr.
Yeah, and he picks up the first down, but he made this a lot more difficult than it had to be. Got a great block by his guard on the pull, the skip pull right there. And if he just runs forward, he's going to pick up that first down easy. Instead, he bounces it outside and then has to make another defender miss in order to, get that down.
And it's the 2-minute timeout. Morgan State with a 35-0 lead.
Stadium, and the Bears have actually had some visitors here in Hughes Memorial Stadium this year. It started in the spring when they hosted the University of Maryland for a spring game, and this practice was the first of its kind. It was in honor of Baltimore Day, and it was open to the public. They wanted to promote a sense of unity. Now, more recently, they hosted Archbishop Stepinac High School, an all-boys Catholic high school from White Plains, New York. They were on the road, and they're known for being a pipeline for student athletes looking to play Division I college football. So what better way than getting a head start here at the Bears home field?
Thank you, Kayla. Good thing with the Bears reaching out to the community. That's something that Coach Wilson really stresses, that he wants his players to be a big part of the Baltimore, Maryland community. So they have a first down from the 15-yard line. The Bears trying to add to their 35-0 lead. Chain might be broken. There was a big hit over there on the sidelines, if you remember. We've seen tonight, Coach, a couple of big hits on special teams, a couple of hits on some DBs, on some wide receivers tonight in the first half.
Yeah, and now a late hit on the chains.
Yeah, you know when the chain's getting hit late, they got to try to figure out how to fix that. Coming up, of course, halftime and ESPN Plus, MEAC halftime report. Kayla will have a very special guest, someone that's very close to the coach of Morgan State, Coach Wilson. Probably the one that is in charge. Do you know who we're talking about? Damon's wife. We'll talk to Kayla Sweezy at the half.
We'll
so we're here from
definitely-
Coach's wife coming up at half. That's going to be
AKA
good.
the boss.
Yes,
right?
they boss. Yeah, we have the boss. So, and she is a Morgan grad. Of course, Damon Wilson is a grad of Bowie State. Was a tight end there for the 1997-98 season. But we'll hear from his wife. One thing about Coach Wilson, he is a guy that is a lifelong learner. You know, he was part of the Bill Walsh Minority NFL internship program not once but twice. He was with the Jets in 2019 and then also did the program in 2013 with the St. Louis Rams. So he's a guy that always wants to be a lifelong learner. So coming up on our ESPN Plus MEAC Digital Network halftime report, we'll hear from Coach's wife. Also check the MEAC out-of-town scores and have first half highlights and stats all coming up on the MEAC Digital ESPN Plus halftime show. There is Coach Wilson. We'll hear from his wife coming up with Kayla Sweezy at the half. I'm looking forward to that. The Bears want to add to their 35-0 lead after the new rule in college football, the 2-minute timeout at the end of the second and fourth quarters. Deuce Taylor is in at quarterback, and the handoff inside the 5-yard line, and a good pickup there, as we're going to see a number of different running backs, and that was number 20, Williams.
Yeah, and he did a great job of not only bursting through the line, but breaking a couple tackles before Cook was able to bring him down, before he was able to get to the end zone.
So Williams, the fourth back we've seen. First and goal from the 5 for the Bears. Deuce Taylor in at quarterback. High snap. Hands the ball off to Williams. Williams gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Good job by the Dragons to stop the momentum. Smith made the stop for the Dragons.
Yeah, and that's actually the 5th back, right? Isn't that the 5th back we've seen?
Yeah, we've seen a bunch here.
It's almost becoming a blur. You just have to double check who's in the backfield every single play, because they've played so many of those guys.
Yep, Davis, Jenkins, Myrie, Collins, and now Williams. You're right, Coach, the 5th running back here for the Bears, and they all been pretty effective. Deuce Taylor will throw the football. Throws it out to Williams in the flat, and he's in for the score. Pretty simple there. The 5th running back we've mentioned. Williams takes the pass from Deuce Taylor. Deuce Taylor's first touchdown pass of the season. Williams' first touchdown grab of the season, and the points keep adding up.
And I like the fact that they're not only featuring these backs, but then they're rewarding them for their good runs, right? Like he hasn't fumbled. He's been running downhill, making good cuts, finishing runs hard, and now he gets a chance to finish off the drive with a touchdown reception.
Leary on for the extra point for Morgan State to try to get it to 42. Leary's kick up, and it's good. 42-0. Here's a look at the touchdown. Deuce Taylor finds Williams out of the backfield for the touchdown, the 5-yard touchdown. Bears impressive tonight. You know, they had the sound effect here at Hughes Stadium. It sounded like a video game.
Yeah.
They're putting up video game type numbers and points tonight.
It's definitely, if we were playing a video game right now, we were playing the game, they'd be resetting the game already because it's already past you've gotten swacked. That's what they would call it.
I like
no
it, Coach.
pun intended, by the way.
I hear you. 10-play, 45-yard drive. Took 3:02 off the clock, and it ended with a Deuce Taylor touchdown pass to Williams, the short 5-yarder out of the backfield. 40 seconds to go before our MEAC Digital Network ESPN Plus halftime show. It has been all Bears tonight. Last week, the Dragons lost 52-0 to Presbyterian, and tonight down 42-0 here in the first half. Here is the look at the touchdown. Deuce Taylor. Doesn't get much easier than that. As Williams gets in the end zone for the score. The fifth running back to do a lot of good things in this first half for Morgan State.
Yeah, and this Virginia Lynchburg team just needs to get to halftime, regroup, reorganize, and try to make something positive happen in the second half. I don't know if I would be tempted to try to open things up right now. I think I'd try to just get to the locker room.
That's good advice. They're going to run it straight up the middle. They're going to take your advice, Coach. But I think that Nico Cleaves, since he came in to replace the starting quarterback, Matthew Jenks, he's been pretty good, right? He's moved the offense a little better than Jenks did.
I think he gives the element of the run. He pulled the ball a couple times to run He has escaped the pocket when the pocket was collapsing. He's bought a little bit of extra time to be able to throw the ball downfield. You like what he's done, and hopefully Jenks isn't hurt. You want him to be okay, but you do have to like what the backup has come in and done in his time.
And that is the final play of the first half. It has been all Bears on Bear Family Day, and the first home opener of the season for the Morgan State Bears. They're in control, 42-0. We'll hear from the coach's wife, Damon Wilson's wife, with Kayla Sweezy, when we come back. You're watching MEAC football on ESPN+.
Okay, I'm here with head coach Damon Wilson. Coach Wilson, I just said good first half, and you said 2 turnovers. How are you feeling about your team's performance?
I mean, we can't turn the ball over twice. We dropped 2 interceptions. I mean, when you're playing against good competition, you can't do those types of things. Those things we talked about going into the game. I'm happy to be up 42-0 at halftime. We have to come out with a 0-0 mindset coming out the second half and do much better.
You've talked about consistency with this team. Who have you seen step up as a leader and kind of show that leadership mentality?
Danny, our offensive lineman, he's done a good job from the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Elijah Williams have been pretty consistent with his play and his leadership.
Do you have a different approach or different strategy coming out in the second half with such a big lead?
No, we're going to get some more younger guys some opportunities. We took Taj out after the end of the first quarter, and we're going to get some more of the younger guys in there and let them get some experience and see if they can play a good half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Kayla and Coach. We're going to hear from Coach's wife when we get back. We're at the half in Baltimore. It's all Bears, 42-0. Magnificent marching machine having a good time here at Hughes Stadium, entertaining the crowd. It's been very entertaining if you're a Bear fan. They're up 42-0. Time to head down to the sidelines to Kayla Sweezy with a very special guest, Coach Wilson's wife, Kayla.
Yes, I'm here with the Wilson family, actually. So we have another special guest, Dylan. But I'm going to start with you, Allison. You have had a front row seat to your husband's journey. How inspiring has it been to see the evolution of him as a coach?
It's been absolutely amazing. It's been so much fun to watch his passion and what he's been born to do and get a chance to see him pour that into opportunity and preparation together and pour it into a program, into a family. It's been absolutely amazing.
Dylan, I'm going to come to you. So you showed up straight from a football game. How much has your dad inspired your football journey?
He's inspired me a lot. Like, he's shown me the ropes of football and all of the things I need to do and need not to do. And he's a great coach, and I like how he does it. And yeah.
Awesome. And can you tell us what position are you? What team do you play for?
So I play defensive end and tight end, and I play for Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome. Maybe a future Bear in the making. But over here to another Morgan Bear. You're an alumna. How has Morgan been so special? You're back as the head coach's wife.
It's been really, really fun. I'm a student athlete and then a graduate from Morgan. So to have the opportunity for my husband to come back to my alma mater has been really, really fun. I got a chance to spend 13 years with him, next to him at his alma mater where he played. And so to be able to have the opportunity to come here and watch him leverage all the things that he learned around building a program, building a family, building a coaching staff, and being able to see that tangibly come here, it's been absolutely super duper fun. And so I'm excited to see what this next phase looks like, and to have our family right alongside him, supporting him, and with our pom-poms out, celebrating him.
Yes, and sports is clearly a huge pillar in your family. So how important is it to be family day here on campus and just celebrate your husband?
Everything begins and ends with family. And so if you look in the stands, you will see the Wilson family. You will see my sorority sisters and his fraternity brothers, his teammates. And so the family isn't just the nuclear family, it's our village. And so this is important. And so as we sit here with the players, every year we get a chance to expand the family. And Dylan gets to have new big brothers every year. And so that is just so much fun. And so it's exciting. This is family day, and this is what we're centered on.
Thank you so much, Allison. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kayla, and great to hear from Coach Wilson's family. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network, ESPN Plus halftime show from Baltimore, Maryland. Bears 42, the Dragons nothing. Things going well for the Bears in their season opener of Bear Family Day here at Hughes Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. 42-0 lead over the winless Virginia Lynchburg Dragons. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Things started fast for the Bears. Their defense, they're good at takeaways. Carl DeCius with his interception, a pick six for 14 yards. And then J.J. Davis, it was all him in that drive, and it finishes with an 8-yard run, 5 carries, 43 yards for Davis, all in that drive. Taj Smith, it's a 1-yard touchdown run, and here the touchdown pass to Andre Crawley, and then Jason Collins Jr., 32-yard run. They weren't done. Deuce Taylor to Kyle Williams for the touchdown, and it's been all Bears in this one. A lot of points on the board for the Bears. That's your first half highlights. More from Baltimore when we get back. You are watching MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Getting ready for the second half here in Baltimore at Hughes Stadium. And let's take a look at the first half stats, and they tell you a lot. Total yards of offense, Morgan State 239, just 7 for the Dragons. Turnovers 2 apiece, 2 penalties each. But the Dragons just couldn't get the offense going at all. 181 rushing for the Bears and 58 yards passing. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scores in the MEAC. We'll do that and see how the MEAC teams are doing. Norfolk State, we already told you about their big win, 32-10 over VMI, and the huge numbers that they put up. Jaquez Jones, 12 catches, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Daniels, the quarterback, 20 of 29, 277, 3 touchdowns. The battle for the real HU, they've been playing that Hampton and Howard dating back to 1908, and Hampton gets the win. Of course, Morgan beat Hampton to start the season. And how about that NC Central score over North Carolina A&T, a former MEAC member, 40-12 at the half, and Richmond has turned it up on Delaware State, 31-17. So North Carolina Central taking care of business in that 96th Aggie Eagle Classic.
Yeah, don't look now. North Carolina Central seems like they're getting it back together again for another run.
Absolutely. There is Coach Wilson, and we heard from his family, not only his wife, but his son. That was great with Kayla Sweezy at halftime. And we're getting ready to start the second half. The Dragons will kick it to the Bears.
And playing the same position that his dad played at tight end. That's great.
Yep. We're going to play 2 10-minute quarters here because of the score in this second half.
Oh, that looks like a lane.
Yep, on the return, a lot of room to run is Keith Jenkins Jr., who is a return specialist. He has 3 career kickoff returns for scores, had 2 his freshman year, 1 last year.
And that was Kendrick Cox getting in on the tackle right there on the special teams. He's been everywhere tonight for Virginia Lynchburg.
It's an outstanding game. And we will step aside with an injury on the field, and we'll be back with the second half. Jeremy Butler, the injured Dragon, got off to the sidelines, and now the Bears have the football to start this second half with a huge lead.
We'll have to see who's in the backfield and how many more people they're going to get back there.
They'll get a lot. Deuce Taylor's going to start at quarterback again, and gets the quick hitter out to Leatherberry. Leatherberry on the move, making a man miss, coming all the way to the other side of the field, and then steps up and gets out to the 25. That was a nifty run by Leatherberry. You see some of his skill. They're excited about him.
Yeah, and it's a great chance to make something out of nothing, because Lynchburg did a great job of sniffing that screen pass out. And he just, used effort and guile to pick up 4 yards right there.
Malik Leatherberry, you might recognize that last name if you're a fan of college football in the Baltimore area. His cousin, Sean Leatherberry, was an outstanding wide receiver right up the road at Towson University. Deuce Taylor in at quarterback, took over for Taj Smith for most of that second quarter. It's running back by committee. It's Jason Collins in the game across the 30 up to the 32-yard line, shy of the first down by only a yard or two.
And we haven't seen them have to use the second part of this play all day. They have the ability to pull it, but they just haven't had the necessity to pull it yet. It'll be interesting to see if that comes up during the second half in this expedited second half.
3rd and 1 coming up. The Bears 0 for 3 on third downs. This is an area the coach wants to see improvement. Let's see if they can get the first down here. Collins is the one in the backfield. Switches sides with Deuce Taylor, and Taylor will throw the football. Quick hitter, and has the completion to Phillips. Phillips' second catch of the game, and that's enough for a first down as he gets it across the 35 to the 36. So the Taylor to Phillips reception gives the Bears a first down.
And a good pass. You'd like to see Phillips turn outside and not right into the tackle right there to secure the ball better, but great job holding on to the ball, taking the hit, picking up the first down.
Phillips' second catch. He came from Virginia State. He played in Virginia State back in 2019. There, he had 8 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown, and he found his way here to Morgan State. Screen pass is set up, but incomplete.
Yeah, there were a few guys on Virginia Lynchburg that didn't bother to, follow and go after the quarterback. Tavares Rogers was just sitting there waiting for the screen pass to go off. That's one of those things when the defensive line isn't pursuing the quarterback, it makes it really hard to get those types of screens off.
Rogers was almost sitting pretty. He almost picked off that screen pass. Of course, that was funny. The first thing Damon Wilson said to Kayla down on the sidelines was he was upset about those 2 turnovers. Unexcusable, coach.
Just like a coach. Just like a coach. Looking at the things to get his team better.
Yep, that's what you have to do.
And I think he said something really interesting there. He said, hey, that won't fly against the better teams.
Gets the ball to Leatherberry out of the backfield. Harris made the stop for the Dragons, but Leatherberry got across right up to the 40-yard line.
I like the way they've used Leatherberry today. He's been on returns. He's gotten balls, thrown to him on short, quick routes. They've got him, hitches or deep curls. I like the way they're diversifying his portfolio today.
Looks like there's a timeout on the field with 7:19 to go in the third quarter, and the Bears up big. There's a look at Deuce Taylor, a redshirt junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Northside High School. And there's a timeout on the field, and we'll step aside as well. Another third down coming up for the Bears. They were successful in their last third down conversion. It's been all Bears, 42-0. Deuce Taylor in relief of Taj Smith. Getting some valuable playing time, and so the other Bears getting a lot of playing time here tonight. Next week, they're on the road at Stony Brook. Bears looking for their second win of the season here in their home opener. It's been a good night if you're a Bear fan. Tough night if you follow the Dragons. Taylor throws downfield. As a man, what a catch. That is Crawley coming back for the football. Andre Crawley. That was an interesting catch, Coach. He got in position there, came back for the football. Take another look, Coach. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you like them taking the shot, right? You like him to drive the ball a little bit more.
Got touched.
But it's a great job of Murray to get his hand on the ball. You like him to attack that with two hands and go and get it at the highest point.
That's why Crawley had to come back for it, because it was deflected by Murray.
Murray did a great job of getting a hand. Again, you want to see DBs go up with it two hands, but great concentration by Crawley to bring that pass in.
So that was an explosive pass play for the Bears. Collins on the carry gets to the 20-yard line. So that was a big pass play. Taylor to Crawley. You know, the Bears, they want to have those explosive plays. They had 5 explosive plays. That's when a play is considered over 20 yards or more. They had 5 explosive plays against Towson. They had 3 against Hampton. They only had 1 last week against Ohio. So more explosive plays is what's needed from this Morgan State offense.
Yeah, and on that run just now, Neville Smith making that tackle. Helmet came off, so he's got to come off the play.
Second down now for the Bears, working in the red zone, looking for more points. Fake to Collins, and then the completion to Leatherberry, and he is running down close to the 15-yard line.
And Leatherberry has consistently made the first tackler miss. That to me is one of those marks of a guy who's really talented with the ball in his hand. And that's why they keep trying to get him the ball, because he does things like that. Turns what should be a 1 to 2 yard gain into a 4 and 5 yard gain.
So another third down in this drive for the Bears. They've been definitely improving on their third down conversions just on this drive. 2 for 2 on third down conversions. Let's see if they can make it 3 for 3. Deuce pulls it out of the belly of Collins and is going to run it himself, looking for that first down stick, but is going to come up short of the first down. Fourth down coming up for the Bears.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that was one he wanted to pull. That feels like he almost predetermined that he was going to pull that. I don't know exactly what he saw that said, hey, I'm going to pull this ball. But now we're looking at a fourth down and short, and the offense is staying on the field.
So a fourth down for the Bears. They're 3 for 3 on fourth down conversions tonight. Let's see if they can make it a perfect 4 for 4 on fourth downs. Fourth and short. Deuce is going to keep it himself. Pulls it out of Collins' belly again and has enough for the first down that time. So Taylor pulled it out of Collins' belly and got enough yards for a first down, getting down to the 12-yard line.
Yeah, and Ronald Stevens able to make that tackle on there, but not before Deuce is able to pick up that first down. A hard run right there. I do see some, I don't know if that's a flag or if it's someone's shoe or.
Yeah, that's something. That's not a. I checked with my binoculars. It's not a yellow flag. It looks like it's an orange, maybe a headband or something that fell off. I think it might have came out of Deuce's.
Oh, it did.
Back area right there.
It did.
After he got the first down run. So they sent a man in motion and they give it to Collins. Collins inside run, inside the 10-yard line, still fighting and moving his feet forward, gets down to the 9.
Yeah, and Stevens, Ronald Stevens in on another tackle, number 3, has really been active on the defensive end, especially in this going up against this run game all night.
So 3:14, the clock rolls here in the third quarter. The Bears up 42-0. Looking to add another score. You see Dominic Anthony, the third-string quarterback on the sidelines was warming up a little while ago. We might see him in the fourth quarter. Taylor gives it to Collins. Collins straight ahead. Touchdown.
And that's just a great job by the offensive line, opening up that hole and allowing them to just essentially walk into the end zone to put another one on the scoreboard. Watch right here. Look at the dominant down block. That's a fantastic down by number 70, Evan Rawlick, with a great down block and just collapses the defense right there. You didn't even need the kickout block. He missed the kickout block, and it didn't matter because he was able to get such a great dominant down block.
Collins' second touchdown of the night, now third of the season for Jason Collins Jr. Leary's extra point is up and good. Jason Collins with a 2-touchdown night, and the Bears continue to roll 49-0 over the Dragons. What a day, what a night it's been at the National Treasure, Morgan State University. Today, Morgan celebrated not one, not two, not three, but 4 new buildings, each with its very own special ribbon-cutting ceremony. This is the beginning of a new modern era for student living at Morgan. A couple of new dorm buildings, and if you walk around campus, Coach, on the way in, all you saw was construction. And Morgan is building over 10,000 students as their enrollment, and every year, it's like going to an amusement park. They have new things every year. 4 new buildings were dedicated today with ribbon cuttings.
It's a mark of a healthy school, a school community where every year there's something new. I had a mentor once tell me that you want to always be building something new on a campus. You never want it to look the same every year. And I think that Morgan State's getting there.
Another big hit on special teams. And let's head down to the sidelines to Kayla Sweezy. Kayla?
The Bears are in the hunt for their first winning season in 15 years. The last time they had a winning record was in 2009 when they went 6-5. More recently, they did have a winning record in 2014, but it was vacated due to NCAA infractions. Head coach Damon Wilson is hoping to have a winning year in just his 3rd season with this team, and things seem to be moving in the right direction tonight.
Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, they would love to get a winning season. That winning year was taken away because some of the NCAA infractions. Lee Hall was the coach those 2 years, and they had a lot of success. He was 11-12 in his 2 seasons in 2014 and 2015. He's the current coach now, the head coach at Delaware State, Coach Hall.
Timeout with the Lynchburg.
But you talk about the success. Recently, Coach, Kayla said it's been a long time since they've had a winning record, but this is the 125th year of football at Morgan State. The first year at football for Morgan, Coach, was back in 1898, and they've had a storied history. You're talking about 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers, Len Ford, Leroy Kelly, Roosevelt, Willie, those guys, 14 CIAA championships, 4 MEAC championships, and 94 all-MEAC first-teamer selections, and, of course, legendary coaches. So 125 years of football. Morgan State, they had the glory days. They were pretty good at football. They want to bring that back.
And they feel like they're close. They feel like they've just been consistency on offense away the last few years, and they're hoping that they've made the necessary adjustments, the necessary improvements to end that drought this year. They have the best chance they've had in a long time to be MEAC champions, and it's all going to come down to how well that offense plays versus these really good MEAC teams.
Nico Clevis, the quarterback, on the keeper, scampers across the 25 to the 26. He's done a nice job since coming in for the starting quarterback, Matthew Jenks. It's, when you say that, you look at, the Dragons don't have a whole ton of yards, but the offense has looked different with Clevis running at quarterback. They had opportunities where they had the positive plays and had some first downs.
Well, you got to remember that sacks count against the statistics in college, unlike in the NFL. So with him being able to run the ball as well as he's been able to run it, he's not getting to see the benefit on the stat line.
And the Bears has another big hit. The ball might be on the turf. It is. The Bears have had 3 sacks tonight, along with their two takeaways. Their 2 takeaways. Another big hit. We've seen a lot of big hits. This is the night you could make a nice highlight reel of big hits.
Yeah, and Virginia Lynchburg is lucky to get this one back. When he threw that out to the left side, you'll watch it right here. He's running and pow! He gets hit right on the ball. Number 12, Gooden, was able to get his body on the man and his helmet on the ball. That is exactly how you teach it. I do not know how Morgan State did not come up with that ball in that situation.
Oh, bad snap. It ends up going right into the hands of Newman, who goes forward. That snap was supposed to go to the quarterback, Coach, but the center snapped it to Newman.
A fortuitous bounce, if you will, that Newman was able to just grab that and get what he can get there. You see it.
I have to do it. Hello, Newman. That's the case with that snap. Right?
That's a layup right there.
There it is. 3rd down coming up for the Dragons here. The final minute of this, under a minute to go of this 3rd quarter. Let's see what Virginia Lynchburg can do if they can get the first. And they're trying to build for some confidence. They have a whole season to play. Haven't had a lot of success, but they want to get things going for them and feel some confidence. Here comes the pressure. Sack number 4. And there's a penalty marker down. Going to be a face mask penalty.
Yeah, and he just got a little bit too anxious. Joseph Clark got his hands out and reached out. Excuse me, not Joseph Clark. Pritchard it was. My apologies, Joseph Clark, putting that face mask on
defense,
you.
number 95.
Yeah, number 95, the defensive lineman, Chance Pritchard, called for the face mask, and that'll give the Dragons the first down via the penalty with 23 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Next week for Virginia Lynchburg, they'll be at Butler and then Texas Southern. Then they'll be back with a MEAC team on the road in Durham, North Carolina on October 12th against NC Central. And then they finally get a home game on October 19th against Atlantis University of Miami. Then their homecoming game against South Carolina Central Christian. And then on the road at Shorter. And then the first Saturday in November, the Dragons will finish the year in the U.S. Virgin Islands against Fort Lauderdale on November the 9th.
Not a bad travel schedule for Virginia Lynchburg.
Yep, Newman with a big run there. His 2nd largest run of the night goes for 8 yards in the first down carry.
And a good run. You like to see that they're still going hard. They're still fighting.
Heading to the 4th quarter, it's all Bears in this one. MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. against North Carolina Central. The last time they scored 40 or more points, as they have now, was in 2022 against South Carolina State when they scored 41 on that day. And they have 49 on the board. Speaking of a lot of points scored today, how about James Madison? 70 points against North Carolina. That's 120 points between those two teams. James Madison, a Sun Belt Conference team, gets the win at North Carolina. And Kayla Sweezy's brother's on that James Madison team.
Yeah, and doing a fantastic job. They, just a few years ago, they were an FCS team. And now they're right in the thick of things. They, have an opportunity to continue to, go up the ranks and earn a bowl.
Of course, their coach Stagnetti left to go to Indiana, where he's doing well, and Bob Chesney came in to coach at JMU from Holy Cross, and he has a track record of a lot of success at the different levels that Coach Chesney has coached. But that was a huge win today, and one of the big stories in college football. I watched that game this afternoon on the ACC Network, and James Madison 70-50 over North Carolina.
Yeah, the turnaround that he did at Holy Cross is phenomenal.
He won 4 Patriot League championships in his time there. There's a first down run for the Dragons. They haven't had too many first downs, but they get one here. Now, last year, Gene, the Dragons were 2-9. They had their 2 wins were over Fort Lauderdale and Lane last year, so they were 2-9 a season ago. And of course, they're going to be 0-4 into this season as they head to next week's game at Butler.
Yeah, and it's a tough schedule to have. I mean, you've got to go on the road and face all of these FCS teams and try to hold your own against teams that probably have bigger budgets and larger rosters than you. But you got to like the fact that they keep fighting.
And going downfield towards the end zone, the pass from Clevis, looking for interference in that call, but not going to get it. Was going deep down the field to their leading receiver, Ryan Sims, who has 26 catches on the season, looking for the home run ball.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have seen Ryan Sims put the brakes on and go back and try to get this ball at the top. He just continues to run. And if he really wanted to draw the pass interference right there, if he would have came back to the ball, he would have had a chance to show that the guy had his arm around him.
Then the official would have reached in his pocket and thrown the yellow flag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good point, Coach. Yep, he needed to make a better effort at that ball to maybe get that pass interference call. Second down for the Dragons, who haven't been in Bear territory much tonight, but they are now. Quarterback is going to keep it is Nico Clevis, and he goes across the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Clevis continuing to run the ball well whenever he has the opportunity to. And I like the fact that he was able to, kind of protect himself right there. He is the number 2 guy. The number 1 guy got knocked out.
Yep.
This late in the game, you don't want to take a chance of an injury that might, hamper you from having a fresh start next week as well.
Third down from the 39. Dragons in Bears territory looking for some points. They were shut out last week in their game. They've only scored 2 touchdowns this season. They've been outscored a whole bunch. Running for his life and incomplete. Clevis bought some time and then took a big hit. And they were looking for the wide receiver Strickland. And incomplete. There's a penalty marker down.
Yeah, and there's another penalty marker down as some Dragon player and a Morgan State player got into it that looked like number 9 from Virginia Lynchburg, Micah Gant, that got into it with a Morgan State player. I think he took a little bit of offense to that late hit on the quarterback right there.
So the crew is talking it over, and Carlos Torn will let us know what the flags are about. And here's the call.
Personal foul. Roughing the pass on the defense. Going to be a 15-yard penalty. After the play, unsportsmanlike. Number 42. After the play, unsportsmanlike. Number 9, Virginia Lynchburg. Those penalties canceled. First down.
So Walker was involved for Morgan State, and here's the late hit. You'll see it again.
Yeah, and that's just one you don't need. I wouldn't say it's dirty. I just would say it's unnecessary.
Especially when it's 49-0.
Absolutely. Just the ball is clearly thrown.
So Coach Wilson won't like it. He'll talk to Walker about that. Gives the Dragons a 1st and 10. Their opportunity to try to score. They have only scored 16 points this season, so they would love to find the end zone. Newman gets the handoff and still working hard, tries to get to the 20-yard line, so Newman keeps it going and gets to the 20.
Newman's had his lunch pail out all game. He's been churning those legs, especially after first contact, doing a really good job of keeping his legs moving, trying to move the pile. And now we want to see if they can punch this thing in. Yeah, I think it'd be a great morale booster for Virginia Lynchburg if they can punch it in.
Absolutely, a team that's only scored 16 points, and both of their touchdowns were passing touchdowns. They've yet to have a rushing touchdown this season, so this would mean a lot for them to get on the board here in the 4th quarter. Give it right back to Newman. Newman running hard in the end zone. Touchdown for the Dragons.
I think we got a little bit handsy on the outside. I think it's going to be a holding call. They just called it right at the point of attack.
They might have said he's out of bounds. We'll have to see. One referee from the far side said that he was in, but the referee right by the 5-yard line, Coach, they're talking it over like maybe he's out of bounds or maybe there was a hold.
Yeah, I saw the flag get thrown, and it was right where I thought it was. The wide receiver on the outside grabbed the defensive back. We'll see what the call is.
There's no foul on play. The result is a touchdown.
Well, I guess they waved off the yellow flag. I see him put it back in the pocket.
So Jacob Newman gets the touchdown, the first touchdown of the year.
So right there it's clearly a hold. On the outside. I think that maybe the referees were giving him a little bit of loving right there.
Give some confidence to the Dragons. That's what we were talking about. That's Jacob Newman's first touchdown of the season and the first rushing touchdown of the season for the Dragons, just their 3rd touchdown. And Poteet comes on for the extra point for the Dragons.
Either way, a well-earned touchdown for the Dragons. They really just kept coming. Took advantage of some penalties, and they were able to punch it in.
And the point after is good. So Newman with the touchdown, and the Dragons are on the board. It's 49-7. So the Dragons are on the board. That'll make that bus ride home to Lynchburg just a little bit better with the Newman touchdown, his first of the season. Magnificent marching machine. They've been marching all night long. They have them on the far side of the Hughes Stadium, across the way from the home crowd. They've been putting on a show all night, just like the Bears have. It's 49-7. The Dragons just got their first points in a couple of games, just their third touchdown of the season. Jenkins Jr. takes the kickoff from the 10. He's dangerous. He has 3 kickoff returns for a score in his career. And he has a long return here up to midfield into Dragon territory, all the way to the 47-yard line. So a great return by Keith Jenkins Jr. And we'll be back after this. Morgan's Keith Jenkins Jr. was looking for his 4th career kickoff return for a score. Went for 43 yards, and he dished out some punishment, Coach.
Yeah, don't tell him that this is garbage time right now. He was out there for blood. He knew he wasn't going to score a touchdown.
Took out
he was
the
going to
kicker.
make somebody pay.
And it was the kicker.
Unfortunately, it was Ryan Petit that had to pay the price.
Keith Jenkins Jr., 2 kickoff returns for a score his freshman year. Had 1 last year. He has 3. Was looking for number 4 and didn't care if he had to take out the kicker to get there. 43-yard return for him, and the Bears will have the football. And there's a player down on the far sideline, which has play stopped at this moment. And a medical card is coming out for this player. So we're going to step aside and come back from Hughes Stadium in Baltimore with the Bears up 49-7. Morgan State would love to have a winning season and be in a hunt for a MEAC title to go to the Celebration Bowl. But let's take a look at this Morgan schedule. Next week they'll be at Stony Brook and then home for homecoming on the 5th against Lincoln. And then Merrimack comes to town. And then you get into conference play on October 26th. And then the whole season changes, Coach. Then you got every week is so important in the MEAC. North Carolina Central, Norfolk State, Delaware State, South Carolina State. But then circle. I think that's Thanksgiving weekend or very close to it. November 23rd when Howard comes here. Maybe that could be for the MEAC title. What do you think?
It always seems to come down to that Morgan State-Howard game at the end. It just seems to work out that way, regardless of who's on top, who's trying to climb. That Howard-Morgan State game at the end of the year. Remember last year, such a tight game. Howard was able to pull it off. They were able to punch their ticket to the Celebration Bowl.
Yep, Howard was able to win that game last year. It was 14-7, and Howard won the MEAC with that win and then went on to the Celebration Bowl and lost to FAMU. Last year, every game was close for Morgan State. Every game but the Yale game. They lost the Yale game. They played that game and lost 45-3, but the rest of the games were all close last season in year number 2 for Damon Wilson. They finished the season 4-6, and they were 3-2 in the MEAC. So there is a look at the schedule. We have an injured player on the far sideline that they're taking care of right now. The ambulance is over on the far sideline. And let's take a look around the MEAC and check the scores. We already talked about the big day it was for Norfolk State. Their quarterback and wide receivers with huge days. And battle for the real HU was won by Hampton over Howard 27-20. Richmond takes care of Delaware State. That was a close game early in that game, but then Richmond, the Spiders, poured it on. And North Carolina Central taking care of A&T 46-18. And down in North Carolina, that Central A&T game means a lot.
It always means a lot down there. It's a battle for North Carolina. Not only is it bragging rights, but it's recruiting territory that both of those teams are going for. So for North Carolina Central to come out on top of that game after such a mass exodus after last year's success says a lot about their ability to reload and go right back at another MEAC championship.
So there you're taking a look at the situation here at the field at Hughes Stadium. An injured player on the far sidelines over on the Virginia Lynchburg sidelines. They have the ambulance out there and ready. Coach Wilson is over there on the far sideline as well. So that is the stoppage of play here at 6:39 to go in the fourth quarter as they're dealing with the injured Dragon on the far sideline. Of course, the Morgan State players and the Dragon players all down on one knee, the concern of the injured player. It's hard for us to see who it is with all the emergency EMS doctors around the injured player on the far sideline.
Yeah, and you never want to speculate. You don't know who's watching.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to say the wrong number or the wrong name, so we'll just wait for confirmation like everyone else.
Absolutely. So the MEAC next week, you get a week closer to conference play and teams still playing out of conference. Some big games coming up next week, but you do have a conference game next week. Next week is the Circle City Classic in Indianapolis. Norfolk State and NC Central will meet at 3 o'clock on ESPNU. That'll be a big game. The Circle City Classic's always a great one, so you will have a MEAC contest next week. And then there will be a couple of weeks until MEAC gets going with their regular play at the end of October. We will step aside and be back from Hughes Stadium.
Here, whether you're a first-year student or looking to complete your degree, Morgan State University's inclusive learning environment is home to more than 150 academic degree and certificate programs. Join Morgan's Momentum, Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, transforming today's learners into tomorrow's leaders in STEM, social sciences, and the arts. Start your journey today at the National Treasure. Choose Morgan.
For 15 years, the Home Depot Retool Your School program has been championing HBCUs. We've been right there with campus grants, scholarships, and career opportunities. Winning schools have seen their visions for upgrading their campuses and communities come to life through sustainability projects, as well as new places to connect, like innovation lounges and outdoor pavilions. As we celebrate 15 years of partnering with HBCUs, we're excited to keep the momentum going. Retool your school. We're powered by purpose.
See yourself here. Whether you're a first-year student or looking to complete your degree, Morgan State University's inclusive learning environment is home to more than 150 academic degree and certificate programs. Join Morgan's Momentum, Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, transforming today's learners into tomorrow's leaders in STEM, social sciences, and the arts. Start your journey today at the National Treasure. Choose Morgan.
MEAC football, where speed meets power, where every game is a battle and every moment counts. This is the home of thrilling action, heart-stopping excitement, and unmatched passion. Our fans, they're the heartbeat, the soul, the pride that drives us. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Be a part of something legendary.
Back at Hughes Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, on the campus of Morgan State University, injured Virginia Lynchburg Dragon being taken via the ambulance as they are being very cautious of his condition and taking care of him. So that was been the delay here. It's been all Morgan State as we welcome you into the broadcast booth. Phil Shaner alongside the coach, Gene Clemens. And Coach, what did we learn about Morgan State? The offense obviously got some confidence. We kind of knew that coming in with Virginia Lynchburg 0-3 and the other teams having some success. But I think you made a good point. The running backs, we saw what they could do, but the starting quarterback, Taj Smith, they didn't give him too many opportunities to throw the ball down the field to gain some confidence. I think they missed an opportunity with that.
Yeah, I believe there was a great opportunity for them to stretch the field early, to have to show that Taj Smith could get some comfort in pressing defenses vertically, because that's only going to open things up for the running game. They missed that opportunity. I did like the fact that they employed so many running backs and said, hey, we're trying to keep these bodies fresh for what the sprint down the stretch will be, but definitely missed an opportunity there for me.
Not only did they use the 4 running backs that we featured, they also added a 5th one that were all very successful. Now, on the other side of the ball, Coach, the defense, we knew they were very good. Number 1 in the nation in takeaways. They have a couple of takeaways tonight. The game started with a pick 6. So many guys on that defensive side. You know, Elijah Williams gets a lot of the attention, but there's so many other great players on the defense for Morgan as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that it seems to be a new guy stepping up every time we see a different possession, and that's what you want to see. You want to see a complete team, not dominated by one player, but dominated by many players who can all be standouts and stars at any particular time.
Now you take this game, if you're Coach Wilson, and you know the guys are going to be feeling pretty good about themselves, you know, because they had a lot of success tonight. What are you saying to your players to get ready for Stony Brook next week after having so much success here tonight? You don't want those false promises where you might think you're better than you really are based on the team that you played tonight.
Well, I can tell you from a coach's perspective, this is a fantastic opportunity to have legitimate film sessions where people can feel great about winning the game, but we can talk about these turnovers. We can talk about some missed opportunities, some bad rushing lanes, things of that nature that these guys didn't do. So I think the coaching staff will take the opportunity to really be able to press the button on, hey, we need to be at high alert because we're not playing Virginia Lynchburg next week.
Of course, we wish the best on the injured player for Virginia Lynchburg that is being taken out of the Hughes Stadium via the ambulance. And coming up next week, College football, MEAC for Morgan State. They'll be at Stony Brook next week at 3:30. And let's see what Morgan could do against Stony Brook. Stony Brook was going to play here at Hughes Stadium last year, but the game was canceled on homecoming week after a shooting on campus last year. So they'll go to Stony Brook and play tomorrow, or next week, I should say, against Stony Brook. And hopefully Morgan State can continue what they've set forward tonight as far as all the offense and all the success they've had tonight against the Dragons. So we'll take a couple of more minutes until we're ready to play again. Wait for another ambulance to come to Hughes Stadium, which I see that ambulance coming on the back side of the scoreboard side of the field now as the other ambulance leaves with the injured Virginia Lynchburg player. 6:39 to go. So they decided at the half, Coach, to play two 10-minute quarters, 10 minutes third quarter, 10-minute fourth quarter. Here's a look at the moon as the Baltimore City Fire Department ambulance comes in to replace the other ambulance, and we're going to be back to football here for the final 6:39.
Yeah, and you just hope that the Virginia Lynchburg players could focus in for the final 6:39. It's never easy to see, you know, a teammate get sent off in an ambulance.
Dominic Anthony was warming up, and now he is out of the gun as the quarterback, the third quarterback we've seen tonight for Morgan. And Anthony hands the football off, and a good solid run across the 40 down to the 39-yard line, and we see yet another running back, Harris. So there is the sixth. There's the sixth running back we've seen tonight,
and a great pickup on the first down too.
Yeah, not a bad run for Harris. Picks up 7 yards. Give him 8, 2nd and 2 for Harris, as Morgan State has an opportunity to get some of their backup players some playing time here with this big lead. Anthony pulls it out and fires and has a completion. Could be another touchdown. They want 50, and they got 50. Touchdown pass. Anthony fires it. And there's a Morgan State touchdown for the Bears as it's Joseph Awumi. Awumi comes in and gets the touchdown. He had some big catches a year ago. Joseph Awumi gets his first touchdown of the season. And Anthony has a touchdown pass, and Morgan has their 50 points that they wanted. It's been a long time since they scored 50 or more points, all the way back to 2011 against North Carolina Central when they scored 52 on that day.
Yes, and that was an RPO. You can tell that it was supposed to be a run. The quarterback read the eyes of the defender, and when they came up to take the run, he pulled it and decisively got it in. A great baseball turn on that to take off and run it in for a touchdown. Excellent execution in the run-pass option for Morgan State.
Woomi's second career touchdown. He had one last year. Leary's extra point is up and good, and Morgan has 56 points on the board and lead it 56-7. Coach, this defense is outstanding, but it could be a lot better if they had another player that's on the sidelines that hasn't played this year. Kayla Sweezy has his story. Kayla?
Yes, absolutely agree. I got the chance to talk to Morgan State star linebacker Eric Hunter ahead of tonight's game, and he was warming up with the team, but he said that he's out with injury and he's on a week-to-week basis. Now, that's all he disclosed with me. I asked him about his road to recovery, and he said he's focusing on last year's tenacity so that when he gets his chance, he is ready to go this season.
All right, thanks a lot, Kayla. Eric Hunter is as a junior last year, ranked number 1 in the MEAC, 75 tackles, 9.5 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and he had at least 9 or more tackles in 5 of Morgan's 10 games, and he currently ranks number 10 on Morgan's all-time tackle list with 188 career tackles. The defense even gets better once Eric Hunter comes back, and I think he'll be back maybe for MEAC play at the end of October.
And there's nothing better than to be able to insert a preseason all MEAC first team selection and a first team selection from 2023 into a defense that's already humming.
Probably makes it easier for Elijah Williams. His numbers will go up with E. Hunt on the field, right?
And vice versa.
Yes.
I think E. Hunt will come in and hit the ground running. You know, he'll start hunting immediately.
He will be on the hunt. So look out MEAC when they start their MEAC scheduled at the end of October. So final 5:53. It's been a great night if you're a Morgan State fan. Their home opener. It's been all Morgan State in this one. 56-7. They'll be 4-0 against Virginia Lynchburg. Of course, the first time they played them, it didn't count for the record. In 2015, they won that game 61-0 when Coach Lee Hall was the coach. That was back in 2015, the first time that Virginia Lynchburg was here at Hughes Stadium in Baltimore.
Yeah, and what I think at this point, if you're Virginia Lynchburg, you're just trying to manage any more injuries. You don't want to see anyone else go down. You don't want to see anyone else get hurt. I doubt if you see them do anything too dynamic at this point, although right now there's nobody over the wide receiver over there. They throw it out there quick to him. Oh, they just miss him. Wow.
They recognized it pretty quickly that there was no one guarding.
Wow.
No one guarding the wide receiver that was out there. It was Benjamin Bellamy. It was wide open.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened right there with the Morgan State defensive back.
Miscommunication.
Why he didn't come out there, but
that'd be miscommunication, right?
Yeah, he did. When he saw it, he just moseyed out there. And if they could have completed that pass,
he would have been gone.
Yeah, he would have had an opportunity to run for a touchdown.
Cleves recognized it pretty quickly that no one was out on his wide receiver on the top of the screen. Cleves, time to throw now, retreats the pocket. Eyes still downfield, looking for a receiver. Throws it to the middle. Dangerous pass, nearly intercepted. An incomplete pass.
You gotta admire Cleve's willingness to try to keep the play alive, but once again, like the hay is almost in the barn, and you just want to be careful out there at this point. No, there's no shade in just throwing the ball away and living to fight another day.
Leatherberry back to receive the punt at his 45-yard line. Ryan Petit, the punter, has been extremely busy. He's been busy all season. And there's a timeout on the field.
Virginia Lynchburg.
Dragons called timeout.
It's their second.
With
32nd in length.
With 5:02 to go here in the fourth. So the game started with the defense, the pick six. Carl Decius with the pick, went in from 14 yards, and then we saw the stable of runners. J.J. Davis took over and had every carry as Morgan went down the field on 5 plays and ended with an 8-yard touchdown run by Davis. Then Todd Smith had a 1-yard touchdown run, and then their second passing touchdown of the season. Smith hit Andre Crawley for a 15-yard score. Jason Collins, he had 2 rushing touchdowns here tonight. Don't forget about that Deuce Taylor 5-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Williams. The scoring tonight for the Morgan State Bears. 56 points on the board. Here's the kick by Ryan Petit. Will kick from his own 10-yard line. Gets off a good kick and takes a great Dragons bounce. He had a 50-yarder kick a few games ago, and that was a long one down to the 31. Coming up next week in the MEAC, take a look at the schedule of what's coming up in MEAC play for next week. There's some big games. Delaware State is at Campbell, Howard, and Princeton. And then you see it right there, MEAC game in Indianapolis, 3 o'clock on ESPNU, Norfolk State and NC Central. Morgan State at Stony Brook, and North Carolina A&T will be in Orangeburg to take on South Carolina State. You can watch the MEAC football all season long on ESPN+. I'm looking forward to that first MEAC game of Norfolk State, North Carolina Central. Always fun in Indianapolis, the Circle City Classic.
And both offenses definitely had it dialed up today, or have it dialed up today in North Carolina Central's situation. So it'll be interesting to watch them get together next week and clash and see who can take the early lead in the MEAC.
And Norfolk State put up some huge numbers in their win today. The quarterbacks and their 2 wide receivers. So again, Morgan with some backup players, and here's another one chasing down the sidelines and finally gets knocked out of bounds, and that is Dennis.
And
number 26, the running back from Morgan, Dennis, broke it down the sidelines and almost took that one in the house.
It's funny because he almost fumbled the snap. We can't see it there, but if we get a chance to see it, he fumbles the handoff a little bit before he's able to get it under control. We'll see it right here. You see how he's almost lost it. He got it and then just took off. Great awareness to just keep running hard. And
that is Dennis. All the running backs that have played tonight, everybody getting a touch. Dennis is in the backfield with Anthony at quarterback, and they give it back to Dennis. Dennis spins and is inside the 15-yard line down to the 13.
Rush by number 6, Dennis.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Looking at his running style, it's a very smooth, elongated run style. Not as explosive or as sudden as some of the other backs that we've seen, but seems to be effective right now.
So Dennis is the guy here, the freshman from Georgia. Played at Ware County High School. Morgan's in the red zone. Give it to Dennis again, and he's tackled in the backfield for a loss, and the football's on the turf, and the Dragons have it. So Dennis fumbles the football after being tackled in the backfield, and the Dragons come up with the fumble. So turnover number 3 on the night for Morgan. That's going to upset Coach Wilson.
And Dennis seems to be holding his arm as if something, and pointing at his shoulder as if something happened.
Harris is the one that came up with the fumble recovery for, no, it was Johnson that came up with a fumble recovery for the Dragons.
And you got to hope that whatever happened to the young man at his shoulder is okay. He seems to be in a lot of discomfort.
Yeah, there is a look of him on the sidelines. Dennis, who had that big run, had 2 nice runs in this drive, but puts the ball on the turf, and the 3rd turnover of the night for the Bears, and the Dragons have the football back with 3:16 to go in this game.
3 turnovers is definitely going to fry the okra of this coaching staff. I can guarantee you that much.
Back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard, and that's it for the Dragons on that run. There's a look at Nico Clevis, the quarterback for the Dragons.
And I think Clevis has done a really good job in relief, coming in and really settling the ship and doing the best job he could at trying to move this Dragons offense forward.
2nd and 9 for the Dragons after the turnover. Clevis slides down at the 30-yard line. Looked like he had possibly an option pitch if he wanted it, but kept it himself.
Yeah, and one of the things that they don't talk about a lot with that read option is there is the option to pitch it out there to that guy. So if that cornerback came and attacked him right there, as you'll see right here, if he comes and attacks, he would have just threw it out there to the outside. This time he fakes it so he keeps the cornerback wide. That allows him to turn the corner.
Picked up 6 yards on that play. A 3rd and 4 now for the Dragons. Give it to Newman. Newman gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's all Newman can get. 4th down coming up for the Dragons. 2-minute timeout. And we'll step aside, finish up from Hughes Stadium when we get back. Final 2 minutes at Hughes Stadium. Big night for the Bears and their home opener, Bear Family Night. Big day on campus. We already mentioned 4 new buildings that they opened today with the ribbon cutting ceremonies. And the Bears put on a show tonight. 56 points. First time they've scored 50 or more since 2011. We've seen Ryan Poteet a lot tonight. He's the punter for the Dragons. Number 12, the freshman. Another Berry back to receive the punt, standing at his 40-yard line. Ball is fair catch at the 49-yard line. So the Bears tonight, Jason Collins, four carries, 49 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. He's done a great job tonight. The running attack, Miles Myrie's been very good. J.J. Davis, even Kyle Williams, and Keith Jenkins Jr. They've gone with a number of running backs that have been good tonight. We mentioned before a couple of guys banged up on that starting offensive line, so they've creating some depth at that offensive line with some guys getting some quality playing time here tonight.
And that can't be undersold, right? They get the opportunity to get reps for guys that may not have gotten reps in the past, quality reps against first teamers, regardless of how good you think they might be. Like, they get the opportunity to play, and there is no substitution for playing time.
There's Harris. He picks up 11 yards and a first down on that run. Dorian Harris, who had the fumble when they were down in the red zone, is back in there with Dominic Anthony, the third quarterback we've seen tonight. Taj Smith got to start, and then we saw Deuce, and now Dominic Anthony closing things out. The last 125 of this game for the Bears. Harris gets another handoff. Harris breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet inside the 20, spins and gets down to the 16-yard line. That was a dynamic run by Dorian Harris.
Yeah, you can't tell these guys to come in and not try to score when they get the opportunity to. Every opportunity. You could tell he's trying to do his best to get into that end zone, make up for the fumble.
Now, Coach, the 60 points that they scored in that 2015 game against Lynchburg didn't count. So if you go back to that, the last time a Morgan team scored 60 or more points, you'd have to go back to 1967. They scored 69 points against Delaware State. So are they going for 60?
If they hand the ball off, I would say they're going for 60. But the way it looks like they're going to just take a knee on this thing.
Yeah, so they're not going to go. It's been a long, long time since a Morgan team has scored 60 or more points, and I don't think they're going to do that. But there is a timeout for Morgan State.
This will be 32nd and length.
So they could obviously just run out the clock at this point.
And that's what you'll probably see. You could
Good
tell that they were
sportsmanship,
getting
right?
into victory formation on that last one. There's no reason to try to go after that.
So they avoid the penalty and then get a fresh 25 where they could run her out. So Morgan State gets their second win of the season. They're going to be 2-2 heading on the road next week at Stony Brook. And Virginia Lynchburg will still be looking for their first victory as the Dragons will be on the road next week at Butler.
I think both teams have an opportunity next week to put a good foot forward. I know that the score doesn't look too good for Lynchburg, but I think they may have found a guy at quarterback that can give them a level of dynamic that they're hoping for. A couple weapons, made some plays, some defensive players, especially their defensive end, making plays. I think that's something good that you can add on for next year. For next week when they travel to Butler.
Stony Brook, they beat Campbell today, 24-17. So Stony Brook with a victory as they'll host the Bears next week. They're 3-1 on the season. So Coach Wilson's team will hit the road again, but successful home opener for them. They take care of Virginia Lynchburg 56-7 for their second win of the season and win number 10 for Coach Wilson his time here at Morgan State. So for the coach, Gene Clemens, Kayla Sweezy on the sidelines. I'm Phil Shaner saying so long from Hughes Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, where the final score, Morgan State 56, Virginia Lynchburg Dragons 7. All games airing on the ESPN family of networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.